Evening, everyone. I'm Mohanapriya from the Department of Soil Science and Agricultural Chemistry. I'm here to present a part of my research on the removal of lead from contaminated waters using chemical sorbents. Uh, Among the heavy metals, has been ranked as the second most hazardous substance by the Agency of Toxic Substances and Disease Registry and the United States Environmental Protection Agency. This lead is usually present in the minerals and ores, but because of its industrial value, it has been used by many industries and ultimately it has been introduced into the food chain mainly through water. By drinking this water and the crops grown with this water, the human beings get lead into their system, and when this lead crosses its toxic limit, it is capable of causing anemia, kidney malfunction, brain tissue damage, and even death at higher concentrations. There has been several remediation strategies which has been developed to remove this lead or to immobilize this lead so that it cannot enter into the food chain. But this removing lead has many disadvantages, like what to do with the things which has been used for removal. So immobilization has been chosen as a remediation strategy in my study, and the immobilizers which I have chosen are SSP and lime. The methodology was to investigate the potentials, adsorption and desorption potentials of these chemical sorbents. For that, I have taken different doses of these chemical sorbents and introduced it into lead solutions of different initial concentrations, and they were incubated at different time intervals. They were shaken for different specific time intervals, and the filtrate was taken. From the filtrate, the lead content was studied. And then after that, the same sorbent was studied for its desorption potential by introducing a desorbing agent, which is calcium nitrate, and the desorption potential has also been studied. From the lead concentration obtained from the solutions, we have calculated the adsorption rate, amount of lead adsorbed, amount of lead desorbed, and desorption rate. Using the data obtained from the amount of lead adsorbed, we have used this data and fitted it into various kinetic models, which has been showed here, in order to delineate the mechanism which governs the immobilization of lead in these two solvents. Coming to the results, taking the amount of lead adsorbed, it was found that the amount of lead adsorbed decreased with increasing sorbent dose, whereas it increased with the incubation intervals and increasing initial lead concentration. However, in all the three scenarios, it was found that SSP was performing better than lime. Then the adsorption rate was studied, and the adsorption rate also followed almost the same trend, but here the adsorption rate increased with increasing sorbent dosage and incubation time intervals, whereas with initial lead concentration, it was found to decrease for higher lead concentrations. Here also, SSP was observed to have higher adsorption rate than lime. Then this data was fitted into various kinetic models, and it was found that pseudo second order model was the best fit. This was chosen based upon the R square value. We can see that the R square value for all the concentrations are 0.99, which justifies that this model can be used to explain the mechanism taking place here. According to pseudo second order model, the main mechanism which dominates in the system is chemisorption. That is, there will be the involvement of chemical force or electron sharing, so that the operating in that system. So the dominant mechanism in both these sorbents are chemisorption. However, if we see the constants calculated from this model, we can see that the initial rate of sorption and the amount of lead adsorbed increases with increasing concentration, whereas the rate of sorption decreases with increasing concentration, which shows that the time required to reach equilibrium increases for higher concentrations. And moreover, comparing lime, SSP has higher values for all the constants. Moving on to the desorption rate, the desorption rate was studied after conducting adsorption. That is, the material was first studied for its adsorption potential, and the amount of metal desorbed from the adsorbed metal has been delineated, and it was found that the desorption rate decreased with increasing sorbent dosage, time, and lead concentration. Here also, SSP has been found to have lesser desorption rate than lime, which means that the SSP gives out less amount of lead which it has taken up than lime. Moving on to the conclusion, from this we can see that the amount of lead adsorbed increased with incubation time intervals, and initial lead concentration, whereas it decreases with sorbent dosage, and adsorption rate increased with incubation time interval and sorbent dosage and decreased with initial lead concentration. The pseudo second order model is the dominating model. That means chemisorption is the mechanism taking place there, and desorption rate decreased with increasing sorbent dose, incubation time intervals, and lead concentration. The average adsorption and desorption rate of SSP and limeware, adsorption rate was 75.2% for SSP, desorption rate 0.93, whereas for lime it was 65.5 and 1.88. So here we can see that comparing SSP and lime, SSP was more effective in removing lead from the aqueous systems than lime.
Now the presentation is open for discussion. How this can be go as an application in the field level?
Sir, after this we have tried an incubation experiment, sir. Then from that we have chosen the best sorbent. This is actually just a part of my study. Along with this chemical sorbents, we have studied this clay materials, clay minerals and organic sorbents. And our aim was to combine these sorbents and study the efficiency of the combined sorbent. So it is just my first experiment to delineate the potential of these sorbents. In the next study was incubation, then column study, then pot, and then finally field, sir.
That means you want to add SSP to remove the lead.
Yes, sir.
So SSP, how SSP is produced?
From apatite minerals.
Apatite mineral contain what are all the heavy metals?
It is having lead, sir.
Already it is having lead. Then again introducing the lead, how will you remove it?
The principle is phosphates can remove lead, sir. It can precipitate the lead as lead phosphate, which is over the time it will be precipitated as pyromorphite. Studies have been conducted by naturally applying this natural apatites in these soils. But as SSP, the soluble phosphorus will be more. So that and the amount of lead introduced by SSP will be comparatively less than the natural apatites. So we have chosen SSP, and it is commonly used as fertilizer on the cropping practice. It will not be a separate package for farmers to adopt. It will be easy for farmers to adopt if we say that just mix these things and add so that your lead will be immobilized.
Okay, very good explanation. I am very clear. But my question is, in which area in Tamil Nadu lead is being contaminated in soil?
Sir, in Ukkadam we have identified, sir.
What is the concentration of lead?
Sir, around 300 ppm, sir, total lead. In Tindikal also we have identified a region, sir.
What could be the reason for that?
Sir, they are irrigating that sewage water, sir. The fields near to the sewage lines, they are just pumping that water and irrigating in there.
What is the reason for increasing lead concentration in sewage water?
Sir, it is mainly from this gold smelting industry, and mostly this smelting industry waters are coming, sir. So that lead is one of the main component in smelting industries. Steel industry, smelting industry, paint industries there. So when the sewage from those industries are discharged into the sewage, that ditch lines, and those water is used for field, ultimately lead is being concentrated in the soil.
Thank you. Good presentation. Good explanation.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, everyone. Myself, Tamil Monica from the Department of Remote Sensing. My topic is rice yield estimation using spectral indices based regression analysis. Introduction. We all know that rice is the most important crop, most stable food crop of the world. Especially in India, we are the second largest producer of rice after China. The global rice cultivation is increased 40% over 50 years. India contributes 20% of world rice production. From that, we know how important that rice is. Then it is important to predict the yield prior to that product. Then in this, remote sensing technology plays an important role, which gives a real-time, timely statistics about the rice production. In that, especially in remote sensing, that vegetation indices act as a valuable tool in crop monitoring, biomass estimation, and yield forecasting. Yearly prediction, which helps in the policy makers to devise policies. Then this is my study area. My study area is a Kaveri Delta region, which consists of Tanjavur, Tiruvallur, Nagapattinam, and Mayiladuthurai districts. This research is carried out during summer season of 2020. Why I chose this area? This is a major rice growing tract of Tamil Nadu. Next. Then these are the satellite data sets I have used. Sentinel-1A and Sentinel-2A and 2B data. This is the open source data which is freely available. We can download it from SciUp Copernicus website. These two satellites were launched by European space agencies. In Sentinel-1A data, I have used vertical horizontal polarization data of 20-meter resolution, which is available at 12 days interval. Then Sentinel 2A and 2B data at 10-meter and 20-meter resolution, which consists of optical bands. It consists of 13 bands. Among that, I used band 4, band 8, and band 11. Band 4 is red, band 8 is near infrared, and band 11 is short wave infrared, which is of temporal resolution in 5 days. Next. This is the overall methodology. We have to download that two satellite data, Sentinel 1 and Sentinel 2A. We have not, usually we have to carry out the pre-processing. In Sentinel 1A, we used pre-processing steps consist of 6 steps, which is carried out in Mapscape software. The steps consisting of mosaicing, co-registration, INLD filtering. From that, we can calculate the leaf area index. Then Sentinel 2A pre-processing involves mosaicing and masking to the steady area. From that, we can derive normalized different vegetation index and land surface water index. Then rice mask is extracted from Mapscape software using that Sentinel 1A microwave data. Based on that mask, we have to extract it with LA, NDVI, and LSWI. Then we have to run linear regression model. Based on the regression model, we can calculate the rice yield. Then the yield is validated with CCE. CCE means crop cultivated experiment yield. Then just we see NDVI. NDVI is a normalized difference vegetation index, which is a normalized difference between near infrared and red region. Its values ranges between -1 to +1. Then higher positive value of NDVI indicates the greenness and healthy vegetation. Then land surface water index, it is a leaf water content, which is also ranges between -1 to +1. It is a normalized difference between near infrared and short wave infrared, which indicates the leaf water content, because the short wave infrared is sensitive to water content. Then leaf area index is a biophysical parameter which can calculate from the Mapscape software using that backscattering coefficient value of microwave data. This is the rice area we have generated for the Kaveri Delta region during that Samba season using that Mapscape software. The next. And this is the NDVI, LSW, and LA map for rice crop over the steady area during the crop growing period. That NDVI value ranges between above 0.4, which indicates the rice region. That while seeing the Nagapattinam district, we can see little patches. NDVI value is less than 0.2. It may be due to that region we normally have late sown rice and direct seeded. Then LSWA, we could see most of the value ranges between above 0.2. Then LA values ranges between 3 to 7. Next. Then this is the rice yield map with 20-meter resolution. Here also we could see in Nagapattinam district we have red patches, which means very low yield, which is due to that late sown and direct seeded. That overall in Kaveri Delta region, the mean yield was 3,654 kg per hectare, while the observed yield was 3,592 kg per hectare, which is of 90% agreement. Among the 4 districts, Tanjavur recorded the highest yield. Nagapattinam recorded the lowest yield of 3,234 kg per hectare. Among the 4 districts, Thiruvarur has the highest agreement between mean yield and observed yield. And then R square value was 0.8, which is good. Then RMSE were 340 and NRMSE were 9.43. Next. These indices indicates that we could use it for yield estimation spatially in major rice growing tract like Kaveri Delta region, because that R square value was more than 0.8.
What is the algorithms used for moving the clouds in a satellite sentinel data? Which algorithm used?
Sir,
For
we used
clouds-
regression model.
Clouds removing. What is the process used for clouds removing the imagery?
Cloud remove.
How you have removed the clouds from the imagery?
Sir, we didn't remove, sir. Actually, we used 10% cloud data, sir.
Now how with the cloud when you use, how will you get a clear image?
Sir, normally we used the cloud free data, sir, with minimum 10% cloud.
Normally the free data will not be, cloud will be there in free data. We get by paying, and if you're getting data, the NRSA will give you the good data. That is a cloud data. But when you are downloaded from the net, you will get normally the cloud data you will get.
Sir, for this, we have to download the peak vegetation period data, sir. We have to search for cloud free data, sir.
So temporal data, how many days intervals you have collected?
Sir, that Central 2A is 5 days temporal, sir. Central 1 year, 12 days intervals.
So whether you have compared with the ground analysis or ground.
Yes, ma'am. This CC yield is ground yield. Observed yield I mentioned.
But the yield is very low, no?
Ma'am,
Spatial.
it's actually mean yield. Not a particular field yield, it's a overall mean yield for the
Mean
entire district.
Hereafter, you don't use Samba season because you are not attending state level conference. What is Samba season?
Ma'am, August to January.
The Rabi.
Okay. Ma'am, we
August,
usually usually we tell it August to January, ma'am, but planting will take often September, mid of September only they will take, ma'am. Late summer is also there.
Okay. So what is mosaicing and masking?
Ma'am, mosaicing, usually satellite data is available at tiles, ma'am. So we have, for a study area, we have to mosaic, means it's stitching like, ma'am. It's like masking means we have to clip it for our region of interest, ma'am.
So you are
From the entire region, for if it is for entire Tamil Nadu means we have to clip it for our region of interest. My region of interest is Kaveri Delta region.
You have given that actual yield data. From where you got that data? You actually gone there and then collected, or some other?
Sir, we collected from a office, AD officer. The CC yield we got, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am, for the presentation. On behalf of everyone, I would like to thank all the speakers and judges for their valuable time and input. And we would like to now offer memento as a token of appreciation. I kindly request the dignitaries to come forward for presenting the memento. Request Dr. P. Balasubramanian Sir, Director NRM, and Dr. M.K. Kalarani Ma'am, Director Crop Management, to present a memento to our lead speaker and chief guest for the session, Dr. G. Prabhakar Reddy Sir, Associate Dean, SV Agriculture College, Tirupati. We now request Dr. R. K. Kalishwari Ma'am, Professor, SSAC, to present a memento to Dr. M. K. Kalarani Ma'am, Director Crop Management. Thank you, ma'am. We now request Dr. P. Parasuraman Sir, Professor and Head Agronomy, to present a memento to Dr. P. Balasubramanian Sir. Now I request Dr. V. Ravichandran Sir to present memento to Kalishwari Ma'am and G. Prabhakar. I now request Ms. Musi Rose, First PhD Agriculture Meteorology, to present a memento to Dr. V. Ravichandran Sir. Request Ms. C. Musi Rose, First PhD Agriculture Meteorology, to present vote of thanks.
Good evening, everyone present here. I stand before you with a heart full of gratitude and appreciation as we conclude this enlightening oral presentation session. The exchange of ideas, insights, and knowledge that we have witnessed is a testament to the spirit of collaboration and the pursuit of excellence that drives our academic community. We are honored to have Dr. G. Prabhakar Reddy, Associate Dean, SV Agriculture College, Tirupati, Dr. P. Balasubramanian, Director NRM, Dr. M. K. Kalarani, Director Crop Management, Dr. P. Parasuraman, Professor and Head Agronomy, Dr. R. K. Kalishwari, Professor of Soil Science and Analytical Chemistry, and Dr. V. Ravichandran, Professor Crop Physiology amongst us today. Your extensive knowledge, experience, and contributions to the field are exemplary and have left an indelible mark on the academic community. Thank you all, ma'am and sirs. I extend my sincere thanks to all the distinguished presenters who shared their expertise and research findings with us. Your dedication to advancing our collective knowledge is truly commendable. and I want to express my deep appreciation to our esteemed audience. Your presence here signifies your commitment to the progress of our field and the desire to foster meaningful connections within our scholarly community. And I extend my gratitude to the Department of Soil Science for providing the hall for successfully conducting this session. And I must acknowledge the hard work and dedication of the organizing committee and technical session committee, whose tireless efforts have made this conference a reality. Their meticulous planning and attention to detail have created an environment where ideas flourish and collaborations flourish. And a very big thank you to all the volunteers, support staff, sweepers, and everyone behind the scenes who have worked diligently to ensure the smooth execution of this session. Your efforts have not gone unnoticed and have added to the overall positive experience for all of us. Let's continue to push the boundaries of knowledge, collaborate across disciplines, and drive positive change in our respective fields. Thank you all for being a part of this remarkable event. Here's to the growth of ideas and the advancement of shared pursuit of excellence. Thank you again.
I request everyone to please stay back, including the dignitaries, presenters, and the audience for a group photo. All the presenters are requested to stand behind the dais and the audience before this. A very warm afternoon to everyone gathered here, all our esteemed speakers and all the presenters for the theme 2, Trends and Challenges in Soil and Crop Management. I, on behalf of the entire dais fraternity, welcome you for the 8th Agriculture Graduate Students Conference 2023. Mahatma Gandhi once said, to forget how to dig the earth and to tend the soil is to forget ourselves. As our theme says, we are here to listen to our presenters who are here to discuss on the trends and challenges in soil and crop management. Let us now welcome Dr. V. Ravichandran Sir, Professor in the Department of Crop Physiology, to deliver his welcome address.
Good evening to all. I would like to take this opportunity to express my sincere thanks to the organizer. I honorably welcome our invited chairman, lead speaker, Dr. G. Prabhakara Reddy, Associate Dean, SV Agricultural College, Tirupati. Moreover, on behalf of the Dean SPGS, I would like to express my sincere gratitude and I welcome Core Chairman Director DRM and Director DCM for the 8th AGSC 2023. I also delighted to welcome our Professor Madam Soil Science and Professor and Head Agronomy. So I wish a very productive oral presentation with exciting, encouraging discussion and exchange of knowledge, so that together we can anticipate a future groundbreaking knowledge, research, technology for agriculture. So I am delighted to welcome all the oral presenters. Again, I wish all 15 oral presenters a successful and a fruitful one. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Now it's time for presidential address. Dr. P. Balasubramanian Sir is the Director NRM and Professor in the Department of Soil Science and Agricultural Chemistry. He completed PhD from Tamil Nadu Agricultural University in 2003. The honors and awards received by him includes Best Teacher Award TNAU in 2008 and 2009, Best Extension Worker Award 2011, Best Poster Award at 5th National Seminar on Climate Resilient Agriculture, Sustaining Livelihood Security, held at SK Rajasthan Agricultural University, Bikaner in 2017, and etc. He is a life member of various professional bodies like Indian Society of Soil Salinity and Water Quality, CSSRI, Karnal, Indian Science Congress Association, Kolkata. He is also a member of AEC and RI Kumulur, Physical Verification Fact-Finding Committee, and TRRI Aduturai Research Project Advisory Committee. I hereby wholeheartedly welcome Dr. P. Balasubramaniam Sir, Director NRM, to deliver his presidential address.
The most respectable today's chief guest and chairperson of this session, Soil and Crop Management, Dr. Prabhakara Reddy Sir. Director Crop Management, Madam, Head of the Department, Soil Science and Agronomy, and Dr. Ravichandran, Professor of Physiology, my dear students. So good afternoon, everyone. Actually, the postgraduate students conference really is going to give an innovative ideas and thoughts, and these things will be taken by the not only by the students, but also be taken by the faculties. further your innovative, young and energetic innovative ideas. Sure, this conference is going to be really a good opportunity to everyone to think of for the betterment of the university as well as for the research areas of thing. So just I want to introduce the chief guest today, Dr. Prabhakar Reddy sir. Sir actually presently is working as a Dean Agriculture College, the Venkateswara Agriculture College and Research Institute, Tirupati. It's a Andhra Pradesh Agriculture University, that is Acharya N.G. Ranga Agriculture University. Sir is well known as an agronomist. She is a well-known agronomist. His research interest in water management and dryland farming techniques. He has experience of teaching for both undergraduate and postgraduate students for more than 30 years. His notable contributions are he was a farm in charge in agriculture college, Naira instrumental farm development and quality seed production, establishment of the meteorological observatory. As a founder principal, agriculture polytechnic, Kalikari, involved in development of infrastructure and other facilities. He involved in development of improved facilities for postgraduate students as head of the Department of Agronomy at SC Agriculture College, Tirupati. He guided more than 5 PhD and 15 PG students as a chairperson and many students as a member of advisory committee. He is presently working as Associate Dean Agriculture College, Tirupati. Before that, he was working in Associate Dean of the Agriculture College, Mahanadi. He has done that is notable contributions. He was a board of studies in Jawaharlal Nehru, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru College of Agriculture, Karaikal for PG Agronomy for 3 years. He elected member of management of board of Andhra Pradesh Journal of Agriculture Science, Tirupati for 2 years. He acted as rapporteur of International Conference for Sustainable Agri-Food System, Bangalore. He got Best Poster Award and Agri Nanotechnology Seminar held at Regional Agriculture Association, Tirupati. Research publication, he has more 19 international and 65 national conferences proceedings, 25 books are 4 and book chapter 3, technical bulletin 10. He has more than 5 popular articles also. He has awarded a Best Teacher Award by the Andhra Pradesh government. He is selected for Chinese government fellowships in 1997 by Ministry of Human Resource Development, Government of India. He also selected for Agriculture Research Service in 1991. So with this biodata, I welcome Dr. That is Prabhakar Rao sir, Rao Garu, for our university to deliver this, that is sharing the session and delivering the keynote speaker. So and really this session is going to give a wonder for the benefit of the students community. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Now, I'd like to welcome another eminent person for a presidential address. Dr. M.K. Kalarani ma'am, Director, Crop Management, TNA Coimbatore, is a crop physiologist specialized in abiotic stress physiology. She is trained on remediating heavy metal pollution in soil from Sarah University of South Australia. She has developed and successfully commercialized Castor PGR consortia in the name of Castor Gold. She has contributed in the development and release of Castor perennial variety YTP1 and 2. She has formulated drought mitigation technology in rain-fed finger millet. She has handled 10 externally funded schemes worth 183 lakhs from various foundations and offered more than 20 courses to UG, PG and PhD students and mentored 5 PhDs and more than 6 MSc students research work on abiotic stress physiology. I now hereby welcome Dr. M.K. Kalarani ma'am, Director Crop Management, to enlighten the audience with her presidential address.
So thank you, Farma. Thank you for a nice introduction. So good evening to all of you. First of all, I would like to welcome Dr. G. Prabhakar Reddy, Associate Dean, SVAC Tirupati, join hand with Dr. Ravichandran and also Director NRM, and Dr. P. Balasubramaniam, Director NRM, Dr. Parasuraman, President Head Agronomy, then Dr. R.K. Kalishwari, President Head in charge Soil Science, then Dr. Ravichandran and student friends. Good evening to all of you. Really, I am very happy to participate in this AGSC program. Actually, this is the 8th AGSC program. The title was selected by Dean SPGS, Globalization of Agriculture, Food, Feed and Fuel. It is a opt topic for this current agriculture situation. Actually, as far as concerned, the Tamil Nadu concerned, this agriculture growth rate is always high. Whenever, even though the per capita income is very less, the agriculture growth rate is always high because of introduction of high value crop, and also we have already attained the green revolution, white revolution, introduction of millets, pulses and etc. So by this way, our agriculture growth rate compared to other other state, the Tamil Nadu agriculture growth rate is always high. But in the inauguration meeting, our vice chancellor is pointed out our food production should be more than 70% within 2050. So as a soil and crop management student and scholars, what we are going to do? So we have to develop the technology, because the climate change is the major problem nowadays. So we have to develop the technology for managing the issues caused by the climate change. And also in the for improving the food security and also the nutritional security, we have to follow the 3 channel. The first one is the crop diversification. The crop diversification means we have to diversify the crops for reducing the water requirement and also for increasing the water productivity. Like that, we have to do the crop diversification. And also the second one is the crop intensification. The crop intensification is we have to add one more crop. For example, you can take in a Tamil Nadu in southern district, like a Virudhunagar and Thoothukudi, they are cultivating only one crop in per year. They are only depending upon the northeast monsoon. The southeast monsoon rainfall is very less. It is only the 125 to 130 millimeter. So that within that 150 millimeter of rainfall, what are the crop we can grow? So what are the technology we have to develop for that particular region with a small amount of rainfall? That we have to think. Like that, we can introduce the small millets, we can introduce the castor, and we can introduce the pulses like that. So we have to concentrate on the crop intensification also. And third one is our Tamil Nadu land is, that is a net land is only the 49 lakh hectare, but fallow land is a 30 lakh hectare. In that, the 19 lakh hectare is a current fallow. So we have to bring back the fallow land cultivation, bring back to cultivation. So at least 20% of the land we have to bring back to cultivation. That should be our aim. So these are all in the 3 channel is available to improve the food security and also the nutritional security. So in such a way, the theme was proposed under this conference, that is trends and challenges in soil and crop management. So under this theme, the lead speaker, Dr. Prabhakaran Reddy sir, is going to give a lead talk, and followed by the 15 paper presentation is there. It is going to be given by the students. So we are eagerly waiting to hear you. Thank you. Thank you so much for you.
Thank you, ma'am. Let us now welcome Dr. P. Parasuraman sir, Professor and Head Agronomy, to felicitate the gathering. He is specialized in water management, integrated nutrient management, weed management, rainfed agronomy, and having 25 years of experience. He published numerous book chapters, international research articles, and various symposium and poster papers.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Good evening to all of you. The chairman and the lead speaker, Dr. Prabhakar Reddy, Director, Crop Management, Director NRM, and Professor Ravichandran, and my dear student friends. It gives me an immense pleasure to be a part of this elite program, wherein the student graduates. It's a great opportunity for the students to have attend this kind of program and then express your views, and then it's really gives the confidence in future, where if you go for the further process of your job opportunities. So here I have I take this opportunity to congratulate all the speakers who are going to present your findings. So I wish you present in a very efficient and then better manner so that it will be useful for your future as well as it will be giving a good opportunity for us to hear. And we are hoping to see your presentations. Thank you for your this opportunities given. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Let us now welcome Dr. R.K. Kalishwari Ma'am, Professor, SSAC, to felicitate the gathering. She is a professor in the Department of Soil Science and Agriculture Chemistry, Tamil Nadu Agriculture University. She has got Best Extension Award TNAU in 2020, Agriculture Research Communication Center, Haryana in 2011 as Best Researcher Award. And she is a member of various professional bodies like Association of Rice Research Workers, Katak, Odisha, Association of Agrometeorologists, Anand Agriculture University, Gujarat, etc. We welcome you, ma'am, to felicitate the gathering.
Good evening, all. Lead speaker and chief guest of this session, Director NRM, Director Crop Management, and Dr. Ravichandran, Professor and Head Agronomy, my student friends. So I think, first of all, I congratulate you because your research paper has been selected for oral presentation. So under this theme, that is trends in soil and crop management, so this session is very much important because soil and crop management are inseparable. I think you can also focus on international conferences like so you carry out your research such that it has to be published in different international research papers, research articles, and also you focus your research such that it can be published in international forum. But this type of conferences, like I think this is the 8th conference, so this is it will motivate you such that you can focus your research in different advanced studies. If you take in soil, so in previous years and all, we used to do only the major elements, but nowadays we are concentrating much on different forms of the nutrients. So then only we can compete at international level. So I wish you all the best, and we are waiting for your oral presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. We now request our lead speaker, Dr. G. Prabhakar Reddy, sir, Associate Dean, SV Agricultural College, Tirupati, to address the gathering.
Dr. Balasubramaniam, Director NRM, Dr. Kalarani Madam, Director Crop Management, Dr. Parasuraman, Professor and Head Department of Agronomy, Dr. Kaleshwari, Professor Soil Science and Agriculture Chemistry, Dr. Ravichandran, Professor of Crop Physiology, and the participants in this agriculture graduates conference come from different parts of India, and my dear student friends. Good afternoon, everyone. At the outset, I thank Vice Chancellor Madam, TNAU, and Dean of Postgraduate Studies, and Director NRM and Crop Management for having given me this opportunity to stand before to present whatever the thoughts I have about the topic I have been given. I congratulate each one of you for submitting the paper and is also passing through this screening committee. You have been selected for oral presentations. As I came to know that its conference is 7th in sequence by TNAU. It is a good initiative taken long back. Taking the what you call this initiation from TNAU and University of Agricultural Science, Bangalore. Our own university also started this type of postgraduate students conference. I am happy to say that last month we also had 5th postgraduate students conference at Tirupati. We had an opportunity to organize that conference wherein some of our your example, Dr. Balasubramaniam, he was one of the lead speaker to one of the session. I really congratulate Dean of Postgraduate Studies and other his team for taking initiation to continue this tempo of organizing postgraduate students using this conference. The topic chosen is also very much apt in the backdrop of globalization of agriculture, wherein food, fuel, and feed, the production must be cautious and global level, wherein a lot of knowledge is being available for the farmers and also traders online to trade the products. In this background, the topic is very apt. Without wasting much time, I will go to my small presentation. Later on, we invite all the student friends who have taken initiation to come over here to present their ideas. Some may be concepts, some may be research they might have done. All the best for all the oral presentation. Well, in the process of meeting our food gain requirement from independence from 50s today 2023, lot of efforts have been done on the part of scientists to generate different technologies to meet this food production program, wherein in the process of this increasing production, some of the issues have not taken care, wherein important issue is soil health. We know very well India is having 2.4% of global land with 4% water resources and 18% global population and 37% of geographical area, which contributes for different activities. Here the table enlighten us the current status of nutrient use efficiency, wherein it never exceed even in nitrogen more than 50%. The another table clearly indicate us the trend in fertility status of Indian soils, wherein majority of the soil samples are showing either low or medium in majority of the nutrients. This is also another grave situation wherein because of the activities of human beings in the process of producing high yields, these soil characters are being threatened and also the wherein it has resulted in the deficiency of the majority of the nutrients, nitrogen, phosphorus, and also zinc that ultimately causes the loss of organic matter and also other issues. If you see there is an amounting of 42 to 78 gigatons of carbon, of which 18 to 28 billion tons were lost through desertification. This clearly indicates that whatever the activities we are doing in the process, it causes damage to the land capacity that ultimately leads to the damage to the soil quality. This is another situation wherein the activities of agriculture resulted in different activities for land degradation, mostly in the forms of water erosion, wind erosion, salinity, and soil acidity, that ultimately causing to an extent of 1.104 million hectares of out of 141 million hectares is threatening to the what you call problematic situations that ultimately resulted in the loss of soil to an extent of 5.3 billion tons and nutrient loss is 8 million tons and also average soil loss, this you know very well most of you, 16 tons per hectare per year. The physical constraint itself around 90 million hectares of land is being threatened on the physical parameters. This also another crop production because of the gravity of the problem in the form of erosion, salinity, alkalinity and erosion, these problems accounted for loss in the crop to an extent of water erosion 13.4 million tons, salinity like that, alkalinity, wind erosion like that. These points clearly indicate us the problem of human activities making the soil one on that. Okay. The activities of human beings are the agriculture process. Ultimately, that is resulting in a degradation. Based on this gravity of problem, there is a need to maintain the soil health to meet our requirements. Because what do you mean by the soil health is the soil should be in a functional condition, whatever the land use which we are putting it, and also within ecosystem wherein you are making that soil. So sustain the biological productivity, maintain environmental quality, and promote plant, animal, and human health. That means the soil should be perfect in requirement for physical terms and also the biological terms and also the environmental lines. All these things put together that makes the soil health. Whatever the activities that we have seen in the previous slides ultimately threatens the soil health. There is a greater need to maintain this soil health. We know very well healthy soils will supply the nutrients, essential nutrients in proper form in addition to the water, oxygen, and also anchorage to the roots. Suppose the soil is in good condition physically, ultimately that provides more aeration, and also if the soil is in proper aggregates, it can provide the anchorage and all. And also these healthy soils will protect the delicate plant roots from drastic fluctuations in temperature. What I mean to say, this healthy soil will have advantage of producing healthy crops and also the maintaining or supplying the nutrients well in adequate quantities to meet the requirement of the crop plants. This is also another conceptual view of soil health, wherein different parameters like soil health is being tested on physical means, chemical means, and biological parameters, which ultimately resulted from different activities like soil services, soil functions, soil process, and soil properties. For example, soil services, the soil is being put for food production with the water quality protection. Soil functions, for example, plant growth, support, and biota habitat. This will serve by the soil. Soil process, for example, soil helps invariably in the development of soil organic matter by proper decomposition and also water filtration. Suppose the soil is maintained in proper aeration and other activities, then only you can say there is a proper organic matter generation is there. And also soil properties in physical means, for example, soil respiration and also aggregate stability, all these put together to maintain the soil health on physical means and also chemical means and biological means. This is another indication how soil health is being indicated. Suppose in the case of chemical properties, the soil health can be judged. The pH should be normal. There should be optimal nutrient levels. What are the NPK and micronutrients that are present in the soil that should be in optimum levels. And also there should not be any harmful chemicals that will be present in the soil to make the soil more healthy. There should be low levels of salts. If there are more salts, that ultimately hampers the crop growth. Except some of the plants, no other plants will survive at high soil conditions. Suppose if you see on the physical means, it should have good tilth or the good tillage conditions to raise the crops for proper growth and other activities. There should be surface structure should be more porous and stable. Then only there will be proper growth of the crop. There should not be any subsoil. Suppose hard layer should not be there, which obstruct the infiltration of water and also the roots. And also there should be good aeration, water storage, and drainage. These should be in the form of physical parameters to maintain the healthy soil. If we come to the biological means, there should be extensive biodiversity. That means there will be more amount of these essential microorganisms and also beneficial organisms. There should be less pest pressure, maybe in the soil, soil-borne diseases and pests and all. Then only we can say that what the soil is healthy. If you want to categorize or indicate the soil on soil health, different parameters. Suppose if you take, for example, physically, we can uh, explain or one can say categorized on the texture, structure, porosity, water holding capacity, infiltration. We can categorize the soils with respect to the soil health. We see just now we had in the previous also, chemical, electrical conductivity, humus, nutrients, and also pH. Biological, there would be two categories of organisms, beneficial and harmful. Harmful is soil-borne pests and diseases. Suppose if you take most of the beneficial organisms, maybe bacteria and also the many which are useful in biological nitrogen fixation and all. As we see, the soil health is being judged by different indicators, and also there is a greater need to keep the soil in healthy conditions on the physical means, biological means, and also the what we call chemical means. Because whatever the soil health is being threatened nowadays because of these issues like depleting soil organic matter, imbalance in fertilizer use, emerging multi-nutrient deficiencies in soils, declining nutrient use efficiency, declining crop response ratio, negative soil nutrient balance, crop residue burning, stagnation and slow growth in food grain production in most of the crops. That is being represented here. Coming to the depletion of organic matter, if you say, for example, Indian conditions because of tropical condition, in most of the cases, the organic matter never exceeds 1%, unlike the tropical situation where because of low temperature and all, there is a more maintenance of organic matter. This organic matter, if you are maintaining in the soil, invariably that keeps the soil in a good healthy conditions with more microbes or beneficial organisms and also physical parameters, water holding capacity and other things. If that organic matter is not there, ultimately the physical parameters and also chemical parameters may not be maintained in optimal conditions to keep the soil in healthy condition. This organic matter is being depleted because of the several problems that have been listed here, like residue removal for fodder and fuel. Most of the cases, the residue that is we are supposed to maintain, maybe mulch and other things, we are removing that fodder as a fodder or fuel, even because of the what you call mechanization and all, we are unable to maintain. Next, burning of crop residues is a major problem wherein we are unable to maintain the organic matter. Excessive grazing and using dung as a fuel, that is also very true, mostly in the case of North Indian condition. This dung is used as an important fuel for most of the case boiling milk and all. That may not be case in our case, mostly we use as a manure. There is a accelerated erosion, desertification and soil degradation. These activities invariably reduces or degenerates the organic matter that is present in the soil. Coming to the crop residue burning, it will have different impacts both in the soil environment, human environment and also atmosphere. Though we say that many issues like don't burn the crop residue and also return the crop residue as an important manure or you recycle within the soil itself, there are a lot of research has been done in sugarcane and other crops wherein you can go for pleurotus and fungus, you can incorporate within the field conditions to go for decomposition. But actually, if you go for a field condition, nobody is doing. Even our own education institutions were also not maintaining the crop residues. In most of the cases, they go for burning. This burning will cause a lot of problem. If you take the soil environment, they reduce the microbial biomass, loss of organic matter will take place, loss of soil biodiversity, declining soil fertility. This will take, if you take a human environment, chronic heart and lung disease, what are the fumes that are getting? Aerosols, particulates will be present. And also if you take atmosphere, it will create climatic pollutants, smog and haze. These are the several problems that are associated with the burning in spite of the issues that are related. That's why we are unable to maintain this organic matter because of the burning. This also being clearly indicated here, wherein if you see from 1990 to 2017-18, there is a gradual increase in the burning of different crop residues in respect of the crop, whether it is rice, wheat, sugarcane, coarse cereals, pulses, oil seeds. If you take these are the rice, wheat or sugarcane is the major crops, wherein you say a lot of crop residues are being generated. They are being burnt without maintaining any organic matter. Coming for a second issue that is threatening imbalance in fertilizer use. If you take, for example, because of the consumption ratio, if you see it's very wider, 4 is to 3, 4.3 is to 2 is to 1 NPK. It's a very wider ratio is there among the three nutrients. If you take, for example, in most of the cases, the K balance is very grave situation where K consumption is most of the cases is very low. Ultimately, we are facing the problem. These, because of K consumption is very low, in due course of time, there is a lot of problems associated with the K reserve. That is, there will be lot of problems for the deficiencies. We need to think balanced fertilizers beyond NPK. That means we used to talk about our NPK. We are going beyond NPK, calcium, magnesium, sulfur, micronutrients and all. These have to be taken care. Same is being visible here. If you see, for example, imbalanced fertilizer use evidenced by wider fertilizer consumption ratios, you see, for example, 17, 18 till to 7 to 18, 9 to 10, there is a wider variation among N, P and K2O, wherein the ratio is very less for the K2O, that ultimately creates a problem of deficiency. If you see the sequence of deficiencies have been identified, suppose if you see immediately after independence, there was only one nutrient that is deficient, has been identified way back in 1950. If you take, for example, 2010, there are 9 nutrients have been identified as deficient. In due course of time, let us assume 2025, some more nutrients are being added in the sequence of the deficiency. The same is being narrated here in the form of a graphical representation. This clearly indicates the grave situation of the deficiency that is coming in due course of time. The sulfur deficiency is also widespread in India, covering 40 to 45% districts, more in southern region. Zinc deficiency is also widespread. Boron deficiency is also identified in many of the samples that were analyzed. This is also another indication wherein the deficiency is being very high in major nutrients N and PK. Even if you take a variation of 8 years, there is also evident. These also soil micronutrient status in Indian soils, wherein that is also being decreased as you move from 1967, 87 to even 2011, 17. There is also grave situation is we are seeing here. The another situation, low nutrient use efficiency, you know very well, just now I had in the previous slides. Even in the nitrogen, it never exceeds 50%. Negative soil nutrient balance, more removal, that is mining more and also less additions. Because of the more crop removal and also less additions, especially in the form of available, there will be less nutrient balance. Declining crop response ratio, because whatever the nutrients they are adding, that is causing less amount of yield generation. Declining fertilizer response ratio, that means in most of the cases, there is a lack of response. This is low nutrient use efficiency. If you take major nutrients, nitrogen, potassium, phosphorus and sulfur and micronutrients, suppose in the nitrogen, the efficiency is very low, you know very well, these are the basic things, wherein immobilization, volatilization, denitrification, leaching invariably causes low efficiency. Phosphorus, mostly fixation. Potassium, fixation. Sulfur, immobilization and other things. Even the micronutrients are also efficiency very less because of the fixation in soils. What are the efforts we are making? If you go through the literature, a lot of research is going on, especially in increasing the use efficiency of phosphorus, mostly the native phosphorus and all. If you see the literature, even then much of the things could not be taken care. If you take, for example, crop response ratio is also very low. If you see from 5th plan to 11th plan, there is a drastic decrease in the response ratio. Say, for example, in the 5th plan, 15 kg grains per kg NPK, that has come down to 6 kg. It is only almost 1/3. That means there is a drastic decrease in the response ratio of major nutrients for the in the form of a crop yield. There could be several reasons that can be listed for the less response ratio in majority of the crops. Inadequate and imbalanced fertilizer use, increasing multi-nutrient deficiency, lack of farmers' awareness about balanced band nutrition. Just now I have discussed that mostly we are using NPK, unlike the using on micronutrients. Lack of varietal breakthrough. We are telling several things. Even then, we could not make. Every year, new varieties coming up. It's not standing. In our own, for example, I quote an example of Tirupati, wherein we are developing more groundnut varieties. It is vanishing after 2 years. They want to another variety that's not standing in the market because of the several problems. That's why even you do a lot of efforts, nothing could be done more excessively. Poor crop management, especially fertilizer dose and other issues, also causes the poor response ratio. This also enlightened here, poor response rates. If you see, for example, response rate is decreasing as you move from 70 to 2015. This also, as you apply, even you apply higher rates, if you say, for example, red indication, there is no much increase in the yield, almost stagnation in most of the crops. This also fertilizer response, mostly it is a negative trend, decreasing. Here, if we see the nutrient consumption production gap, suppose there is a lot of nutrient consumption, but ultimately in the form of nutrient removal. Removal is more, we are not applying up to the requirement. There is a lot of gap between the nutrient removal and also nutrient consumption because of the varied reasons that are existing at the field condition. Ultimately, here also you can clearly say food grain production is almost yields in majority of the crops, almost they are in static level. This also projected grain production. Say, for example, the current food grain production exceeded 330 million tons as per the latest estimates of May 2023. Even then, this also clearly indicates that the consumption is far below the requirement or the demand. And also there is a lot of gap that has to be met by different sources, ultimately the organic and others. Because of the valid reasons, just we have enlisted, the soil health is being threatened. We are very much concerned. It's a more concern about the all among all the scientific community to deal the soil health, how to manage the soil health, to ensure productivity, profitability, and national security. That means if we maintain the soil health, just like our human health, then only the soils can be handed over to the future generations to produce the requirement of food grains in the in the population that are coming in due course of time or the future generations. What are the health of the soil that is we are maintaining that should go into further generations, otherwise without any deterioration, wherein they will face lot of problems where there will be shortage in the food grain production. Here, United Nations Millennium Development Task Force on Hunger, they told that soil health enhancement as one of the 5 recommendations for increasing agriculture productivity and fight hunger in India. That means the soil health is invariably, if we maintain the soil health, ultimately human health and also animal health can be maintained. You know very well, even in majority of the foods we are producing, mostly they find the residues or the chemicals invariably. If you see actual facts, we never consume even fruits and vegetables. These are the grave situation. We are maintaining the soil health by organic and other sources. There are different strategies in order to maintain the soil health. These are all simple things only. Just we are brushing up whatever you know. The green manuring, if you want to maintain soil organic carbon sequestration or maintain the organic carbon pools, invariably one has to go for green manuring. There are different issues among the green manures, green manuring in situ, green leaf. There are several species have been tried on a large scale across the country, across the globe, wherein even now we are unable to have much technology. This is also another neglected field. We are doing some research nowadays to generate the database on the green manuring, seed production and other issues. Even our own university, we are doing little some research nowadays on fodders and green manures, wherein we have to develop the database. Availability of seed itself is a problem. The another issue is conservation tillage, wherein we maintain the residues on the soil surface. It will have a lot of advantage by going for this conservation tillage in the process of maintaining soil health. Like if you go for a conservation tillage, there will be decreased labor time, more family time, fewer process that is avoids the compaction, reduce the fuel cost. You know very well the conservation tillage have come into existence mostly in the Western countries wherein they go for heavy machinery. That means that is also coming into force in our own Indian conditions because of the mechanization that we are stressing. That's why there is also picking up nowadays, though it was started in the Western countries because of the high fuel and also more compaction and other problems. Here the soil health is also being improved by going for soil conservation tillage like soil aggregation, establishment of roots, feeding by that is soil organic matter is improved, and also reduce erosion by if you maintain the residues. The improves water availability also by going for conservation tillage, reduces sediment loading, improving water clarity, reduce nutrient runoff, reduce algal blooms and also dead zones. That also there will be minimum disturbances, permanent crop cover will be there. There are several advantages that can be listed by going for a conservation tillage, either in the form of a zero tillage or the minimum tillage. If you go to our own Indian conditions, mostly the rice wheat rotation, invariably the mechanization where you go for mostly combines this conservation tillage is being picking up. Even if we take our own Andhra Pradesh state, if you go for the coastal areas where they go for with conservation zero tillage, the maize is being planted, sorghum is being planted after harvesting rice without going for any tillage practices. These forest plants are also adds for soil organic carbon enrichment. You know very well, invariably, the forests in the form of agroforestry, maybe alley cropping, windbreaks, forest buffers, silviculture, forest farming. These are the basic things wherein we are introducing this forestry and agriculture fields. There's a component along with the arable crops, maybe fodder crops or the arable crops. Ultimately, they adds to the organic matter. This also being enlisted here, how this forest or vegetation will help us to increase the carbon production or the organic matter improvement. In addition, this grazing management also increase the carbon storage. If you go for adequate vegetation that protects the soil with increased plant cover, and also if you go for crop rotation in the form of grazing management and also crop diversification, in the previously Dr. Kalarani Madam was telling, if you go for diversification invariably that we can taken care, wherein you can incorporate the millets or all. Here also if you go for a crop or a legume or cover crops, wherein that improves the soil organic matter and also organic carbon, and also avoids the like digging up of the soil, improves grazing management and also apply manure if you go for proper grazing. These are the another activity wherein we can improve the soil carbon. It is also same diversification, cropping systems, maybe crop rotation or introducing new crops which can add the organic matter into the system. This is also another advantage of crop diversifications. It has been listed that if you go for crop diversification, there is added advantage of 14%. The pest and disease, if you go for rotation and also proper planning, 63%. Water quality is improved by 50%. Soil quality is improved by 11%. That's more than 10% is invariably a high amount wherein you can go for crop diversification. Suppose because if you go over crop diversifications, there is a potential of crop residues have been given more than 330 million tons. In the process of maintaining soil health, instead of going for routine soil nutrient management practices, we can go for different issues like integrated nutrient management, balanced fertilization. If you go for, there will not be an imbalance. The soil health may not be threatened. You have to go for new fertilizers like fortified fertilizers and also coated fertilizers, customized fertilization, and also water soluble fertilizers wherein we can reduce the doses to meet the crop requirement. And also in spite of going for a blanket or blind recommendation, invariably one has to depend on soil dust based fertilizer recommendations to reduce the dosage to meet the crop requirement. And also have to go for improved nutrient management practices to supply the nutrients only in the, you know very well it is a simple thing INM where we can integrate different sources of the nutrients, maybe the inorganic, organic sources and biofertilizers to meet the nutrient requirement and ultimately maintaining the soil physical biological parameters to maintain the nutrients in the mostly in the available conditions. These are the components you know very well wherein chemical fertilizers, green manuring, biofertilizers, crop residues, legumes and also municipal compost, organic manures, even vermi compost that is being manufactured in many cases that can also be a component of this one. In addition, another thing where you can go for this integration or soil health management by going for biofertilizers, wherein we have many things like rhizobium is there, azospirillum, azotobacter, BGA, VAM, azolla, pseudomonas, phosphor, PSP, many things are there. Even our own university is doing a lot of work. Our own university at 4 centers, Tirupati, Kadapa and Amaravati and Anakapalli, we are generating a lot of biofertilizers, both in the liquid biofertilizers and soluble fertilizers. They are picking up, we are generating most of the income and also mobilizing most of the farmers. Nowadays, it is picking up a lot, mostly the liquid biofertilizers. Most of the farmers are using wherein they are improving the soil health. These are also some of the on-farm trial results wherein invariably going for a balanced fertilization instead of going for a single nitrogen. If you add phosphorus and potassium, invariably there is a increased yield that clearly indicates one has to go for balanced fertilization instead of going for a single fertilization. If you go for nutrient management practices of old practice applying the fertilizers only through the soil, now we are feeding the plant by going for different approaches, maybe fertigation, maybe priming, maybe by SSNM, whatever you say. You know very well SSNM is nothing, is a new not a new concept, wherein based on the variability that is present in the soil, wherein you go for precision and other activities to identify the variation. According to the variation, you can apply the nutrient as per the site at a particular point of time where you can apply the fertilizer in right quantity, right place and right dose. Ultimately, you save the fertilizer that ultimately helps in maintenance of soil health. The fertigation invariably that helps reduce labor, reduce wastage, better yield and also uniform distribution of flow of water, nutrients, better fertilizer use efficiency. There will not be any loss. All this added advantage if you go for improved fertilizer nutrient management without causing damage to the soil health, wherein you can apply where is the requirement of the plant. The management of micronutrient deficiencies can be taken care as a part of balanced nitrogen fertilization or balanced nutrient management that ultimately helps to maintain the soil in healthy conditions. Suppose application of zinc sulfate for most of the soils will help to reduce the nutrient deficiency, application of boron, and also even the application of most of the these what you call FIM in the extent of 8 to 10 tons, wherein most of the micronutrients are kept in available form. They will act as a chelating agent. These are the basic things we know very well. They keep the nutrients in the available form, micronutrients, mostly iron and zinc, so that they will be supplied as per the crop requirement. The micronutrients can be even applied by the foliar spray as in the form of liquid fertilizer, even in the foliar spray to an extent of 0.5%. These are some of the issues which can be attended as a part of nutrient management to maintain the soil health. Because there is a greater need to make availability of the organic manures either in the form of a composting, vermicompost, or recycling of most of the urban waste in the form of, if you take for example, most of the cities, Bangalore and all bio-enriched manure, even the Bangalore Development Authority, they go for manufacturing or maintaining, even if TTD, they are also generating a lot of bio-manures wastage from the cottages and all. That's why the recycling of these composting can be done so that they can add to the organic manures if they are supplied to the soil to maintain the soil health and also quality of the soil. In addition to the what are the mechanism or managements just now I have listed in the form of a technology, INM or even the biofertilizers or the integrated nutrient management or maybe the menus, vermicomposting, whatever it may be, they can be supplemented by the government policies or government issues wherein they can help us to maintain the soil health, where some directions can be given by the government organization. The government policies like to encourage industries to produce based on soil and crop requirement. Nowadays, the customized fertilizers have come already based on the crop requirement. Specialty fertilizers, you know very well, most specialty fertilizers are available, fortified fertilizers. Customized fertilizers, lot of research is also going on, even our own university, customized fertilizers being supplied by different companies. They are being tested in the our own universities, how they are working and all. In spite of applying the fertilizers blanketly, the crop-wise customized fertilizers are also being done to maintain the soil health. To increase availability of this phosphorus, the government of India is encouraging phosphogypsum. This is another source like coated areas, you know very well, nano area, all these things are coming up nowadays to increase the availability, to reduce the this wastage and all. The government can also intervene in promoting biofertilizers, promoting organic fertilizers, promoting balanced fertilizers, all this in the form of a subsidy. These are the government activities that can be taken care. This, in addition to that, organic farming and natural farming, we are speaking nowadays, natural ZBNF, whatever, all these things. You know very well, lot of research and also database is being generated because most of the organizations and also there is some national invest and natural farming also has come. In our house state in Pulivendal and other place, sub-centers are also there, wherein Sri Vijay Kumar, Principal Secretary retired, is also doing lot of activities wherein our university wanted to generate database to give it to the government so that whether this is working or like that. Organic farming invariably, which involves all this involvement of menus, rotations, biological management, animal husbandry, and menus, all these things also helps us to maintain the soil health. You know very well the characters of organic farming. They protect the long-term fertility of the soil, provide crop nutrients directly, nutrient self-sufficiency. As a part of this, organic farming also helps us to maintain the soil health. You know very well in the organic farming, what are the management, whether weeds or pests, invariably and what you call organic means can help us to maintain the soil health, preferably without keeping residues in the soil. The These are some of the issues just I wanted to share as a part of the talk I have been given. It's a general topic. There's nothing new we can share. Just I will conclude some of the issues. Like we know very well, the soil fertility depletion has to be taken care. Imbalanced fertilizer use is there. There is a widespread nutrient deficiencies. Adoption of lack of adoption STCR, INM is not being in practice. So we say that several things. Actually, if you go for field conditions, they are not in. Here, this clearly indicates to go for major secondary nutrients and micronutrients in addition to the major nutrients to be taken care. These are some of the issues. Just I want to share my ideas. Most of the things you may be knowing, it's not nothing new. Just I want to share some of the points about this maintaining the soil health. In addition to these things, several issues are also going on where crop diversification, just we have seen millets and other things, invariably climate resilience, agriculture, all these parameters are also coming up wherein soil health is being taken care because our health is being threatened. If you go for any product in the market, if you take a lot of residues are being there, you cannot take even a banana fruit or any fruit like that. These are the grave situation. Based on the grave situation that is present, there is a greater need on part of all of us scientists and students to keep the soil healthy, to encourage the farmers to go for organics in integration with the nutrients or inorganic fertilizers to maintain the soil quality for the further generations, to keep the soil in living conditions in the form of biological parameters, chemical parameters, and physical parameters, so that the crop growth will be more and also it maintains the quality for further generations without damage to the food grain production for the future generations. They should not be in hunger in due course of time. I thank each and one of you for patient hearing. Now, if you have any queries, you can ask. I will clarify.
Participants, if you have any clarifications about the presentation, you can ask.
No, she is taking photograph. It's a normal practice, even not biased.
Sir, regarding soil health cards, what's its impact on?
Impacts, it's not going to the farmer. What I told you, no. Soil health cards, we tell several things that actually not percolating into the farmer level. Even then, that is a major problem. Even now, most of the farmers are not analyzing the soils in spite of the kits available, in spite of the whatever the extension people who are doing lot of mechanism or awareness. Even the farmers are not coming up, and also they are not utilizing. These are the some of the points I told you in burning and other things. Evenly, if you go to the field, they are not still working or taking into shape. In the though they are doing lot of government of Andhra Pradesh or Tamil Nadu Department of Agriculture people, they are doing lot of things. They have a laboratories, they issue the soil health cards, but actually field conditions is a very limited usage. That's what I told. Still lot of things have to be done. Though we generate lot of what you call literature, actually if you go to the field conditions, still they are in, there are many farmers, they never analyze their soil. Without analyzing the soil, they invariably apply the nutrients whether they need or not. If you go actually analysis, they may not require any potassium like that. Even then they will be applying. These are the several facts at the field level. That may be true in your state or any place. These are the common things. Thank you.
Any other clarifications?
Sir, very good comprehensive presentations on soil health management systems. So really you made an insight into the depth of science in which the physical, chemical and biological properties which contribute significantly to reduce the toxicity in the soil, and ultimately it prevent the that is entry of poisons into the food system. That is rather than now we originally were taking about the food security. Now later on we have our slogan turned into the nutritional security. Now our slogan is going to turn as a health security.
Yes.
So health security is more important than the nutritional security, and nutrition security is more important than the food security. That is the our slogan, sir. Really, your presentation was very good, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much once again for giving me this opportunity to present my ideas. Thank you each one of you for patient hearing. Now we can start.
Thank you, sir. Now we can start the presentation, oral presentation. I hand over the mic to the session chairman, Dr. Prabhakar Reddy Garu, for continuing the session.
Thank you, sir, for your presentation. It's now time for the commencement of oral presentations. Due to the paucity of time, we would request our presenters to please limit their presentations to 7 minutes. A bell would be rung in the end of 7 minutes for indication. The next 3 minutes are for discussions and questions. All the participants are requested to take note of this. Wishing all the presenters all the best for today's presentations. We will now start with the session. We now request our first presenter, Ms. Ravina Ravi, to take up the bias and present her paper.
Honorable Chief Guest and respected dignitaries and my dear students, friends, good afternoon to one and all present here. And myself, Ravina Ravi from the Department of Environmental Science. I am a doctor candidate student from Tamil Nadu Agriculture University, Coimbatore. And this is my presentation topic is on assessment of water contamination in treated sewage discharge areas of Udumalpet block in Tirupur district, Tamil Nadu. And the reason why we chosen this study is to benefit for the farming communities. And this study we have focused 2 objectives, and my first objective is on the monitoring survey. So in this, our introduction, the rising global population is one of the global concern now, and the global and the population is also increasing in a geometric fashion, and due to this, the shortage of fresh water is a very alarming issues, and this taking this as one of the challenging issue, and we are bringing a solution for this problem. For this forecast, the rise in global human population is about 9.7 billion in the year of 2050, and this water scarcity uh, uh, we are using some alternate issues, and we are bringing the alternate solution for this is a wastewater recycling. In this, I am using the treated sewage for irrigating the crops and also bringing a suitable solution for the farming community peoples. And if we take in India, the domestic water consumption is estimated to increase in the year by 2015 is around 31 meter cube per person per year, and it is now it is an alarming issue. It will be increased to 2050 by 46 meter cube per person per year, and in this last 2 decades and the next coming 2 decades, the water allocated for the irrigation purpose is to be anticipated to increase and also to decrease for 10 to 15%. And for this evolving issue, we are using the domestic wastewater for irrigation purpose. And this I am focusing only for fodder crops, not for food crops, because when we take sewage irrigation, there will be a lot of heavy metal contaminants. If we are going for irrigation of sewage without treatment, there is a possibility of accumulation of heavy metals in the food crops. So I'm alternately I'm using the fodder crops for as a second objective. And why we are concentrating on fodder crops when compared to food crops means, and in the year of 2020 we have achieved 200 million tons of milk production. When it will be increased demand in the year of 2050, it will be around 400 million tons. And this is my first objective. My first objective is based on the pilot scale survey. In that survey, I have took both a contaminated site and also the non-contaminated site. And here we are used the treated sewage irrigation for both the Woodmellpet block. That treated sewage irrigation is from the STP, and it covers a lined channel of about 7 kilometers of distance, and it covers nearly 6 villages. The treated sewage after treatment, it is discharged into a lined channel, and the sewage is we are choosing 2 sites. One is the contaminated site and another one is also non-contaminated site, and we are bringing a positive solution out of that. And this is my study area. I have chosen nearly 40 sites, and in that 40 sites I took for 20 sites for well water irrigated samples and 20 sites for treated sewage irrigation sites. And these sites were GPS tagged. And coming to the objective, and I have chosen two types of studies. One is the soil and water contaminated areas with the treated sewage irrigation, and another one is without treated sewage irrigation. So based on that, my quality is analyzed, and after that the crops are recommended based on that suitable areas. First one is the sites which is focused on treated sewage irrigation during survey 1 and survey 2. It was carried in the year of 2019 and 20. So in this we are checking that the EC content is very high because of high amount of organic constituents which is present in that sewage water sample, and to that the chlorine content is also very high, and the cations and anions which is in appreciable limits, that is permissible limits, and it can be used for irrigation purpose also. And the bicarbonate content is somewhat high. It is due to the dolomite salt which is present in that site. And next one, my focus is on heavy metal concentration. So this is also a part of my objective. That heavy metal contamination, I have took I concentrated on 4 heavy metals. When compared to non-treated sewage irrigated site, the treated sewage irrigated site, though it has within the permissible limits, that is the heavy metal contents are within the permissible limits, it also can create some harmful effects. And the another one type is without treated sewage irrigation. The well waters are analyzed without treated irrigation sites. So the pH of the sample is very high. It is due to the ions which is present in the sample, and we take the well water 6 and 8. During the survey too, we have noticed that the pH is very high, and it is due to the acidic content which is present in the water, and the ECTDS is also very high. And the heavy metals during the survey 1 and 2 in the which is a non-treated sewage irrigated sites in the heavy metal contents. So in some areas we have noticed that the heavy metal content is below permissible limit, and in some areas it is below detectable level. And based on this, for soil, we have generated a thematic map, and the thematic map is for 6 type of characteristics. One is pH, EC, organic carbon, and soil available NPK. And when we take pH, it is categorized into 2 types. The highlighted areas, red areas, the pH is very high. These areas are irrigated with sewage irrigation. So because of more acidic contents which is present in sewage, the areas is the pH of the soil is very high. And when we take easy, it's also more high. And organic carbon status, it is classified into 2 types. One is a high organic carbon content, and another one is a low organic carbon content. The high organic carbon content is mainly due to the organic amendments and the organic constituents which is present in that sewage irrigation. And when we take the organic carbon content which is present in that sewage, that irrigated areas, it is in low. It is mainly due to the nature of the soil which is present in that areas. And the soil available NPK status. So when we take a sewage, we can go for alternate because of using fertilizer. The sewage itself have some basic organic amendments. So that we are using the areas with treated sewage irrigation is more flourished when compared to the non-treated sewage irrigated sites. And coming to the conclusion, when we take the water from STP, the BOD, COD, TSS and TDS contents and the coliform contents are all in permissible limits. After treatment only they are discharging in the lined channel, and the treated sewage effluent, it has appreciable amount of cations and anions. And when we take the well water irrigated site and treated sewage irrigated sites of Udumalpet block, it's all meeting the quality standards of CPCB limits. And with this, I carried out my second objective. In that second objective, I focused on fodder crops, that is Kambu Napier grass. It was released at the time year 2019 in Tamil Nadu Agriculture University, Kambu Napier grass, Cobian 5. So in that we have checked the quality attributes and also the yield of the crop. So when compared to the non-treated sewage irrigated sites, this crop, the yield and the quality parameters are very good when compared to other sites. And the heavy metals is one of the problem, because even though when we are gone for treatment, the heavy metals, it cannot be completely removed from the wastewater. So ours in that crop also we have faced some issues, and for reducing that, we are used organic amendments like cow dung, that is farmyard manure, and vermicompost, and coir pith. So these, when we are using these things, the heavy metal content is somewhat reduced because of the accumulation is very reduced. It is due to the chelating capacity of that organic amendments. So this addition of organic amendments has increased the chelating capacity of the soil and reduced the availability of heavy metals which is present. The uptake of the crop is reduced finally.
640 சொன்னீங்கல்ல, அப்புறம் ஏன் யோசிக்கிறீங்க என்ன? It is true. ஏன் யோசிக்கிறீங்க? Why are you not confident about your
Second.
You must stick on to the timing. That it shows you should have the presentation very precise. It's for all the speakers. So when before the bell rings, if you could able to stop and then you would able to convince, then you are going to have good presentations. One thing. So finally, what you are going to say, that is effluent, that means that treated sewage treated irrigation can, you are telling that you are tried for 4H.
Sir,
Okay, if you use it for forage, and forage we are feeding to the animals, and then again we are taking the milk from the animals. Can't it affect our system again?
sir, when we take that sewage treatment plant, so it was running for about 10 years. And we can say that for long-term irrigation, there is a possibility of heavy metal accumulation in that crop. So in order to reduce that, we are suggesting some organic amendments for accumulation of heavy metals in that crop. So it's one of the possible. Yes, sir. How they, sir?
What they are using?
Sir, vermicompost and farmyard manure, sir.
They are applying.
Yes. Sir, ma'am, nearby some industries are there. Some industries are there, and but when we take the sewage water, that are the heavy metal concentration which is present in that wastewater, it is all in the permissible limit. So even though it is in permissible limit, if we are gone irrigating in future, it may have some high impacts. So now it is in permissible limit, and if we go on long-term irrigation, there is some impacts.
A pleasant afternoon to the chairman and dignitaries of the panel and student friends. Myself, Prabharan, PhD scholar of soil science, here to present my results on computation of soil carbon indices under major cropping system of Kodavasal block of the Tiruvarur district in Kaveri Delta zone. First coming to soil carbon, where UN nation is making us to do the sustainability of the resources for the future needs. Coming to the environment, where soil carbon serves as a vital indicator for measuring the sustainability of the resources, where when a natural ecosystem is put into any activities, automatically the loss of soil carbon occurs, where the major causes of soil carbon losses in an ecosystem occurs from soil and erosion, where minimal disturbances causes the loss of carbon as carbon dioxide into atmosphere. And next is deforestation and land use change, where conversion brings the loss, and where aggressive tillage, where the soil aggregates break down and the carbon present in the aggregates releases and gets lost. Where next other culture practices like overgrazing and monoculture of the same crop leads to loss of soil organic carbon from the soil. Where my study area, whereas Kodavasal, which comes under the Kaveri Delta zone, is present in the tropical region. The tropical region is usually undergo for loss of soil organic carbon to the climatic conditions, and the computation of soil carbon indices helps to assess whether the land is under rehabilitation activity or other deterioration phase. So this is my study area. It is a Kodavasal block which is present in Tiruvarur district. This Kodavasal block is one of the intensively cultivated area under rice, where this block covers about 175 kilometer square, and the major crops grown in this region is rice, pulses and cotton. The geology, the parent material formed of the study area is mainly from the alluvium of the Kaveri river, where the areas are irrigated through the canals. The samples were taken in the block using the methodology of stratified database sampling, where the population was chosen as the Tiruvarur district, and in which the strata was chosen as block, the Kodavasal block, and the samples were randomly collected from the different places of rice, cotton, rice pulses, and uncultivated land uses. Uncultivated land uses was taken for as a reference for the computation of carbon indices. And these are the different sampling points taken within the block, where only one sample was taken under uncultivated, remaining was taken in the randomly taken within the areas, where during survey the information about the cropping sequence followed as taken as information. And these are the sum of the indices which was calculated. First is the carbon stock, which is calculated using the soil organic carbon, bulk density and the depth of the into 100. Next is the lability of carbon, where the permanganate oxidizable carbon was taken against the non-labile carbon, which is the non-oxidated by permanganate. Next is the lability index, where the lability in the sample and the reference was taken. Next is the carbon pool index. The carbon pool index is the total carbon in the sample by the total carbon in the reference soil. Next is the carbon management index, is the multiplication of carbon pool index and the lability index. Next is the microbial quotient. Microbial quotient is the ratio of microbial biomass carbon to the total organic carbon. Next, the metabolic quotient is the it was taken from the respiration incubation experiment of 32 days, where the last 2 days of the respiration was taken as a basal soil respiration. And finally, the mineralization is important. That is the cumulative amount of carbon dioxide evolved from the respiration experiment to the total organic carbon. And these are the experimental results of the study area taken under different sampling locations. The highest pH recorded was in the uncultivated sample, 7.56. The variation in pH was caused due to the difference in management practices and majorly contributed from the parent material present. And EC coming to all the soils were non-saline, indicating the good use of good quality irrigation water practices. And soil organic carbon stock was in the study area ranged from medium to high rating, where the cultivated areas had equal more soil organic carbon. Similar, the soil organic carbon contributed to a more carbon stock present in it, whereas the soil inorganic carbon, which is the measure of the carbonates present in it, since its soils undergo the continuous cultivation, the carbonates are being converted into organic form, and the highest inorganic carbon was present in the uncultivated land use, where the POX is the permanganate oxidizable carbon, which is the level fraction of the carbon. It was highest in the rice pulses ecosystem, where the pulses are capable of contributing more level carbon to the soil. Next is the microbial biomass carbon. It is the carbon accumulated in the microbial biomass, where it was higher in the cultivated land use. And finally, the mineralization, it is the respiration activity, which is influenced by the difference in the rooting pattern of the crops. And these are the indices where CMI is a carbon management index. It was highest under the rice pulses compared to the rice cotton cropping systems. Since the uncultivated land use was taken as reference, the value was taken as 100, from which the remaining indices were calculated. Cumic, which is the microbial quotient, it is the percent of microbial biomass carbon present on the total organic carbon. The normal values ranges between 1 to 5%. The values, since it's 3 and 4, it indicates the presence of good microbial activity and the presence of good carbon in the microbial biomass. Next is QCO2 is the metabolic quotient. The threshold level of QCO2 is 2, where the value is about 2 indicates the presence of less efficient microorganisms. Since the values are less than 2, it indicates the presence of efficient microorganisms present in the soil. And finally, is the mineralization quotient, which is due to the respiration activities occurring in it. And this is a descriptive statistics of the study area of the different samples collected, where the mean of the soil pH was 7.36, and the mean soil organic carbon was 0.72, indicates higher and good quality of soil organic carbon present in it. And the level carbon is 190, indicates higher values indicate the good activity of the microbial and taking the carbon from the freshly added residues into the soil. And the higher values of microbial biomass carbon and air retention activity indicate the efficient activity of the microbial biota present in it. Coming to the digital mapping, where the soil organic carbon was mapped using the ArcGIS software, where the green area shows the higher values of soil organic carbon. Those areas, the cultivated areas of the block, where the soils undergo the continual cultivation and good management practices carried out, and the red color indicates a comparatively lower soil organic carbon, and the areas under build-up lands indicate the lower values of soil organic carbon. Next is the correlation study, which indicates that the white circle indicates that carbon is highly correlated with the remaining indices of permanganate oxidized carbon, non-living carbon, carbon stock, MBC, and DHT, where the red values are the higher values of the positive range of correlation, and blue is the negative range of correlation. The soil inorganic carbon was negatively correlated with the remaining indices. Next is the principal component analysis of the different parameters. This was done to study the relation between the each parameters, where the wider angles of the arrow mark in the graph shows the lesser relation between it, and the lesser angles between the each parameter shows the more related among them. And in this analysis, total 9 components were developed, where only 3 components have the eigen value of more than 1, indicating the reliable amount of variation, where the major variation between the study area was caused due to the permanganate oxidizable carbon, and next is NLC and bulk density. Normally, when a land is converted from the natural ecosystem into some other activity, generally the loss of soil organic carbon occurs. So practices should be carried out in order to conserve soil organic carbon along with the cultivation, where inclusion of legume favored more amount of soil organic carbon in the soil through organic matter decomposition than the cotton. And further, since it's a rice cultivated area, in the puddling practice where the soils were homogenized and more finer fractions were present, they are able to stock more carbon and binding on the colloidal surfaces. Some of the strategies to improve the soil organic carbon includes continuous cropping with cover crops instead of monocropping. Next is balanced application of manures and fertilizers without involving any over application or less application based on the soil test values. Next is reduced tillage instead of going for over tillage activity, conserved or no tillage practice can be followed. Next is a better grazing management without involving overgrazing. And finally is enhancing the microbial activity, which is able to uh, convert more soil organic carbon from the residues and which are incorporated into the soil. Thank you.
Now the topic is open for discussion. What pulses they raise? What are the crops?
The pulses they go for a fallow with the black gram,
Rice,
fallow, black gram or
black gram.
black grams.
Clarifications? A small, this one, you must at least number your slides. There is all of you. Because if you want to ask any question, so we can go to that particular slide. And these are the basic things. You must number the.
Why you have chosen Kaveri Delta area for carbon studies?
Because Kaveri Delta is one of the intensively cultivated area where the carbon management practices won't be considered, where we generally go for the NPK management. Further, for maintaining and sustainable use for future trends or to conserve the soil quality, carbon indices were computed.
The thing is your soil texture. Okay, so it is having mostly heavy clay.
Heavy clay.
So you can expect more carbon stocks. So that is.
In Kaveri Delta zone, there is a rice is normally grown in no, but there are methane emissions issues are there. How your carbon sequestration is going to address the methane emission?
Actually, methane is an inorganic form. I have concentrated only on the organic form of carbon and organic carbon stockings.
See, organic carbon is getting under submerged conditions, under waterlogged situation, it will be converted into methane. So how you are sequestering carbon, is it not?
Not sequestering.
No, you are keeping the carbon in the soil because of the heaviness of the clay. So how it contribute to reduce the methane emission? That's why. Okay, thank you. Because of the alternate wetting system, the SRI technique is there now. So when you go with SRI technique, with your you can able to reduce the methane emission from the soil. Okay, you can sequester the carbon in the soil system. So okay, when you keep the soil under continuous water stagnation, there is possibility of methane emission is there.
Sir.
Student friends, they are not putting any questions, just enjoying discussions. Huh? Shall I send him? Sir? Okay, thank you. Nice presentation.
Thanks.
Kumar.
I request the participants to please stick to their timings. Thank you.
So good evening to one and all present here. First of all, I would like to introduce myself. I'm K. Arun Kumar, undergoing third PhD in the Department of Crop Physiology under the guidance of Dr. M.K. Kalarani ma'am. And I'm here to share a few things about effect of melatonin on rice seedling traits and stress indices against drought. So, first of all, rice is the foremost important food crop. More than half of the world's population use rice as their staple food. That's why it is called as an economically important cereal crop. Nowadays, due to climate change, drought is the most prone one. It is predicted that by 2025, more than 15 million acres of rice growing regions will be affected by drought stress. So nowadays, recent new plant growth regulator have been exploited to mitigate several abiotic stresses. One among the new plant growth regulator is melatonin. Actually, melatonin is a mammalian hormone. Before 2000, it was only identified in animals. In late 20s only, it was isolated and identified in plant species. With this background, we framed the objective to screen the suitable melatonin concentration, which could mitigate the drought stress in rice, and to evaluate the potential of melatonin to assess how it mitigate the drought stress by determining the various stress assessment. Then coming to my experiment details, it is a screening experiment. The experiment was carried out with the famous ruling variety, that is CO51, which is susceptible to drought stress, with seven treatments, 4 replications in completely randomized design. The drought stress was imposed with the help of polyethylene glycol with the water potential of 4 bars or 0.4 megapascal. Before inducing droughts, the paddy seeds were treated with different melatonin concentration for 24 hours and then allowed to germinate for 14 days. Then observations were recorded. Then coming to the result, drought stress affect germination percentage, shoot length and root length, whereas melatonin treatments improve those parameters. Among different melatonin concentrations, 200 micromolar shows better performance, whereas there is no significant difference between control and 50 micromolar of melatonin, that is MT50. Then coming to the assessment of various stress indices like vigor index, promptness index, germination stress tolerant index, plant height stress index, root length stress index. Similarly, drought stress reduces those stress tolerance capacity, whereas the trend increases with increasing melatonin concentrations. Among different melatonin concentration, T6 shows better performance, whereas the increasing trend was observed with melatonin concentration up to 200 micromolar, then it started to decline. Then coming to the seedling and fresh weight and dry weight, the seedling and fresh weight and dry weight were increased with the help of melatonin treatments, whereas control treatments does not have any significant difference between the melatonin 50, that is very low melatonin concentration. This shows the positive correlation between the melatonin concentration and seedling parameters like germination percentage, shoot length, root length, and vigor index. So how this sealing fresh weight and dry weight get enhanced with the help of melatonin concentration, that is 200, means mainly by improving the basic germination and the vigor parameters. This is how melatonin improve the sealing fresh weight and dry weight finally. So far we can see how what melatonin actually did with germination and the stress tolerance capacity. Now we can see how this melatonin enhanced those parameters and improve germination percentage, sealing traits, as well as the stress tolerance capacity. Once we subject plants to stress condition with the help and we apply melatonin exogenously, this exogenous melatonin automatically enhances the endogenous melatonin level. Actually, melatonin acts as a good antioxidant. It will quench reactive oxygen species and reactive nitrogen species, which have been generated at the time of abiotic stresses, especially drought stress. This melatonin acts as a good antioxidant and quench those reactive oxygen species. Meanwhile, it also integrate with other plant hormones, especially with abscisic acid. At the time of drought stress, ABA will be produced more in plants. This melatonin actually downregulate the ABA biosynthetic genes, thereby it downregulate the ABA production in plants and helps to plants cope up with more photosynthetic rate, transpiration rate, that is more gas exchange parameters. Meanwhile, this melatonin also help to maintain osmotic adjustment, which will directly reflect in relative water content of the plant status. So through this mechanism, melatonin can enhance the drought tolerance capacity. Among different melatonin concentration, we can see through principal compound analysis, melatonin 200 shows better performance, followed by 250 micromolar. Among the different variables, germination parameters and vigor parameters shows more reliable to germination and growth rates of rice seedlings. So from this, we can conclude that drought stress could be mitigated with the help of melatonin. Among various melatonin concentrations, 200 micromolar shows better performance. The tolerance capacity enhances with enhancing melatonin concentration at certain level, that is up to 200 micromolar. Above 200 micromolar, it does not show significant effect. So we can found for come to clarification that for rice, 200 micromolar of melatonin is most effective to mitigate drought stress. Thank you.
Why you have selected for drought studies rice?
So, because for in upcoming years, drought is a major problem combined with high temperatures. This is my part of work only.
In rice, why you have selected rice crop? Never thought of any drought and all because it is invariably raised at lowland or upland. We take aerobic. We never raise it as 100% rain-fed, no? In most of the cases. Why? What is the background of selecting this topic or using this melatonin in rice? What prompted you to go for rice?
So this is my screening experiment. My actual work is combined drought and high temperature stress in reproductive stage to start to fix the melatonin concentration. We have done screening procedures. For screening melatonin concentration, we have chosen this experiments.
No, I am asking about the crop.
Actually, the drought situations occurs only at reproductive stage. That is the at harvest. For example, after physiological maturity, the plant suffers due to want of water because of the that is controlling release of the water from kaveri. Okay. So what way your initial studies using the melatonin on these seedlings, how it contribute for the drought mitigating the drought and later stage? My question, understand?
Yes, sir.
Any place. This actually is a experiment is in the laboratory, right?
Yes.
It is a laboratory experiment. Actually, you are addressing for the drought.
Yes.
But you are working in the seedling stage. Understand?
Yes.
Germination and seedling stage. How your study is going to mitigate this drought at the later stage, that is reproductive stage.
So this experiment was conducted to screen out the melatonin concentrations. Because I have used different melatonin concentration to fix rice crops, right from 50 micromolar to 250 micromolar. How to select which melatonin concentration, how to be fixed with reproductive stage.
You are going to study up to reproductive stage.
Yes, sir.
So the initial melatonin concentration, how it contribute for the mitigating the drought and later stages.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Good.
Concentration. This is my basic screening experiment to. So after this, I have conducted 3-part experiments. This is mainly to screen out the melatonin concentrations. It's a sigma grade. Melatonin is not commercially available.
That's a source of melatonin. Where is a source of melatonin?
Sir?
What is the source of melatonin?
So we obtain commercial is sigma grade.
What is the cost?
It's around 6,000.
Okay, if you come out with some recommendation, will it be affordable?
Yes, sir, but we have to formulate melatonin, sir. That is in pure form, 6,000, sir. We have to commercialize the products.
Okay.
Sir? Yes.
It is available with now. You told that only from animals. It's derived only from animals, or it can be from.
It can synthesize it in plants also. So in chloroplast and mitochondria, it will synthesize at the time of stress.
Your voice is very nice. Huh? Nice. And also, you are on time. Nice. Have a bright future.
Let us Let us now break for a tea refreshment, and I request all the participants to come back within 10 minutes and be seated on time. The session will resume by 4:45 p.m. Also, all the participants are requested to wait until the last presentation of the student for a group photo.
Good evening and welcome one and all presented here. Under the theme of trends and challenges in soil crop management, my topic is on evaluation of quality parameter of different Cambunepar varieties under the sodic soil condition in southern zone of Tamil Nadu. Coming to India, total geography area is 328.7 million hectares, out of which 6.73 million hectares highly salt affected. In that, especially 3.77 million hectares occupies by sodicity conditions. So, future demand of our country is food grains 400 metric tons, whereas vegetable and fruit 650 metric tons. Coming to fodder, 1012 metric tons. It is one of the most difficult task to achieve this within 2050. What we have to do? What the solution for that? It's for this problem. So solution is solution is the biggest question mark. What we have to do? We have to utilize every bit of land present in our country. So I have selected phytoremediation as a optimum tool, and it's a sustainable and eco-friendly approaches. Then here Cambunepar as selected as a good phytoremediation tool because it's a high biomass fodder crops, more possible to remove the mineral matter from the soil, especially in salt affected area in sodicity conditions. Coming to my experiment, I have take two soils, sodic soil and neutral soil. Here, neutral soil used as a expective control. Coming to in performance of Cambunepar varieties under the sodicity conditions, neutral soil used for expective control. In addition to sodic soil, the pH is 9.76, whereas EXP is 72.5%. Here we did three different harvests in 75, 120, 165 days interval. We are following same normal field recommendation, whereas coming to fertilizer 150, 50, 40 kg hectare per NPK, we are follow the four different varieties KKM1, CO4, CO5 and CO6. As a part of my research, we did quality parameters also. Why quality parameters more important? Because it's essential for high rate of gains and high help for high milk productions and also help for high reproductions and adequate profit for in fodder production area. Then influence of green and dry matter yield in Cambunepar varieties in neutral and sodic soil conditions. Neutral and sodic soil conditions. See, first during first harvest, compared to neutral soil, sodic soil had a very less green fodder yield because the high sodicity conditions, physical structure will fully affected, mainly surface crusting, dispersions, not allowed to the root penetrate in the soil. So that's the main reason for we had very less yield in sodic soil conditions. Among the different four varieties, CO6 varieties had a higher yield in both neutral and sodic soil conditions. Coming to subsequent harvest, second and third harvest, the yield gap between neutral and sodic soil subsequently reduced because the genetic nature of the each varieties to sustain in the under the sodicity conditions. Same trend will follow the dry matter conditions although in both neutral and sodic soil conditions. Then coming to quality parameter, first one is crude protein. It's one of the important quality parameters. It's considered a building block of all living systems. Here KKM1 varieties had the highest crude protein content in both neutral and sodic soil conditions. Here subsequently get reduced because nitrogen availability get reduced due to dilution effect of the crops. Then second one is crude fiber. It is a part of a carbohydrate, the helpful for digestibility of the fodder crops. It mainly increase with the nitrogen, decrease the crude fiber content. In here the CO5 varieties, that is treatment 3 and 7 had the highest crude fiber content, followed by CO6 and CO4 and KKM1. Then coming to crude fat content, it also called ether extract. It's contained Co5 variety, Co6 variety had the highest crude fat content because genetic nature allow the photosynthetic generation and merismatic activities allow the more mineral metal accumulation in Co6 varieties. Then followed by Co5 varieties had the highest crude fat content because the dilution effect, the accumulation of fat content it will distribute throughout the plant. Then coming to total ash content, here Co6 variety had the highest total accumulation because Co6 variety only high genetic nature and accumulate more green fodder yield. That's why it's contain more ash accumulation in both neutral and acidic soil conditions. The next quality parameter is nitrogen free extract. It's a sum of all crude protein, crude fiber and crude fat and total ash. It's a subtraction from minus 100. When finally we got nitrogen free extract, here the Co6 variety only had the highest nitrogen free extract, the around above 50 only, 53.4 in both neutral and acidic soil conditions. The compared to all parameters, Co6 varieties significantly performance better than other three varieties because the varieties containing high biomass yield compared to other varieties around per hectare 400 tons per hectare per year. Then coming to bricks and oxalate content. First one is bricks content. Bricks content mainly focus on taste and palatability of fodder. First, during initial harvest, the bricks content is very low because the crop growth comparatively very low because high sodicity conditions. The soil surface crusting is not allowed to root penetrate in the entire soil subsurface. That's why we had a very less growth performance during first harvest. But the subsequent harvest, second and third harvest, the growth will be progressively increased due to genetic nature and continuous management practices. Here, the subsequent harvest in the optimum bricks content we get second and third harvest, both neutral and sodic soil condition in Co6 variety. Then coming to oxalate content, entire 4 varieties had comes under safe level. Here oxalate content safe limit is less than 4%. We got very less oxalate content accumulations noticed in the Co5 varieties compared to other varieties. Here because the genetic nature of the Co5 varieties had the less content naturally. Then growth performance of company in both sodic and neutral soil conditions. See that growth performance. Fourth one, the Co6 varieties had better performance than other varieties. Here this is the best performance varieties in the both and neutral soil conditions. This only indicate the sodic soil grown under the company pair. Then coming to research findings, crude protein had highest comes from KK1 varieties, whereas crude fiber Co5 varieties had highest 33.5%. Coming to crude fat, total ash and nitrogen free extract, Co6 varieties performs better than other 4 varieties because genetic nature allow the more photosynthetic generation and accumulation of more minerals in plant parts. That overall performance compared to all other varieties, Co6 in both quantity and quality aspect. Then coming to performance, Co6, Co5 and KK varieties and Co4 is the least performance among the 4 varieties. Then from my research, I conclude that wherever is good water available in sodicity conditions, we can recommend the company as a optimum crop to attain the better fodder productions. Among the 4 varieties, Co6 can potential cultivar and strongly recommend to the farmers who struggling in the sodicity condition in Ramanat belt area. Thank you.
Now the topic is open for discussion. It's a horticulture study.
Yes, sir.
How you extrapolate into the field condition? It was some zone, southern zone of Tamil Nadu.
Yes, sir. In Ramanat Coastal Salinity Research Center, sir.
Okay.
We have trials, next trials going on, sir.
Horticulture, you have taken the neutral simulation and
comparative purpose we have.
The ESP of soil.
72.5.
Huh?
72.5. 72.5. 72.5, sir.
ESP.
Yes, sir.
72 points.
Yes, sir.
Which location?
Sir, soil collected from Thoothukudi region, sir. Devi Sayalpuram, sir. pH 9.76.
9.76.
Yes, sir.
72.5, eh?
Yes, sir.
So,
Sir, no crops, not cultivating any crops, sir. Barren land ones.
anyhow, you check the ESP, eh?
Yes, sir.
I have not come across last 8.5 years I was working in salt affected soil, but I never come across up to 48, 52 ESP we have come across, but 72, I think I don't know whether it is there or not. Please you check or you do analysis.
Sir, we have did same question.
Confirmed.
Yes, sir.
Okay, then it is good. Okay.
Coastal area.
Yes, ma'am.
Their water is good.
No, ma'am. Soil mainly collected from barren land, ma'am. Not any crop management practices done, ma'am, there.
Is tolerable to that EC level.
Yes, ma'am.
ESP level.
Yes, ma'am.
So what is the mechanism the crop is adopting? Whether you find it out that
That mechanism I don't know.
better you do that also.
Some genetic factors they told from.
No, you study whether in the root accumulation is there, because in some varieties, no,
Yes.
it will accumulate in the roots itself. It will not carry to the vegetative part. So that I think it is in progress only, no.
Yes, ma'am.
So I think you can include that also.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Student, please interact with the speaker. We'll go for field also. This is preliminary.
Yes, sir.
No questions.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Rahman. Vasumati.
Good evening to everyone present. Good evening to everyone present here. My topic of presentation is about identification of start of season in major rain-fed crops of Tamil Nadu using the remote sensing technology. As all presenters have said about, there was a decrease in cultivable or arable land with the increase in the population, with the increase in demand for food grain production all over the world and as well as the India. But even though we are having the huge amount of rain-fed area, we are only concentrating about the irrigated area for increasing the technologies and the yield production wise all wise. Hence, we need to focus about the rain-fed area for increasing the production. Even though we are concentrating the rain-fed area, means also there was a trouble to increase the production horizontally. Hence, we need to increase the production vertically by using the diversification techniques. Next. So this is a study area map of my study. Total Tamil Nadu we are considered. Next. This is the materials we were used. Satellite MODIS 13Q1 is the satellites we are utilized with the spatial resolution of 250 meters and the temporal resolution of 16 days. This is the methodology we were utilized to find out the crop start of season. First, we were downloaded the MODIS satellite data and using the MODIS reprojection tool, we were mosaicing and reprojection and subsetting of data were done, and then the processed data were extracted using the cell statistics. From that we were extracted the multi-value point to the ground truth data. Second one is extraction of vegetation indices by using the NDVI. This is normalized difference vegetation index. By using this formula, we were derived NDVI for the particular ground truth point. This is the Modi's NDVI map for entire Tamil Nadu. With that, increase in the green color showing the increase in the vegetation, and increase in the red color showing this decrease in the vegetation. This is the NDVI profile for the major rainfed crops. So we have selected the 12 rainfed crops for identifying the NDVI profile of the particular crops. First one is the Bajra. It is start from the October month and end with the January month. For Plagram, it is started with September and ended by November months. And chili, it is sorted by October and November, and ended by in the month of January. And the coriander also, it is started in October and ended by January. Next, that top most curve is for Mark bean. This is started in the month of August and ended by the month of January. And groundnut, next one is automatic change slide. For groundnut, it is started in the month of October and ended by the month of December. And for maize, it is started by the month of same October and ended by January. For Mark bean, it is started by October month and ended by December. And for rice, it is started October and ended by the month of February. For sesame, also same October and January only. Sunflower, it is started in the month of by the end of November, and the end month is in January. With that, the conclusion is about in major rainfed areas of Tamil Nadu, where there are cultivating only the single crops, except the some of pulse growing regions where the pulse crop is followed by moth bean, where that is dewgram is cultivated. And then because of short growing period, there was a cultivation in these regions mainly depend on the onset of monsoon.
Any questions? We could not get anything out of your presentation. Huh? What you have done?
They have identified the vegetation, how long the vegetation is present in the particular locations. We have collected nearly 1,000 ground truth points, ma'am, all over Tamil Nadu. In that particular, only focusing on rain-fed condition. In that condition, particular in that ground truth, how many months the vegetation is present, like this.
Is it your PhD or PG?
This is my PG works.
PG work.
Yes.
So how you are using the Modi's data?
Yes.
What is this that is
250 meter
resolution?
250 meters.
250 meter resolution Modi's data. Can you got across the Tamil Nadu, whole Tamil Nadu? And how many temporal data you have observed? You analyzed?
The 16 days once downloaded.
16 days once. So what is your conclusion?
Majorly they are cultivating a single crop only.
That is your conclusion. So, but there is no, in rain-fed situation, no second crops not there.
Sir?
In rain-fed situation, only single crops are growing.
Yes.
In rain-fed condition. all throughout the Tamil Nadu. There is no
Major
places, double cropping is not available.
north parts, they are cultivating some
Ah.
double crops, sir, with the pulses with the dew ground.
And that's why we are saying that, concluding that single crop only. That's why I'm asking.
Majorly single crops.
Tell in terms of area. That is very important, no? So what throughout Tamil Nadu you are collecting the data. So if you tell majorly, it is
Viluppuram and Kanchipuram districts, sir. Viluppuram side is a double crop side, sir. Southern sides all single crops only, sir. Ramanathapuram and Virudhunagar and all single crops. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. You want, okay.
So from this study, what actually you are going to tell to farmers, or what is the benefit of this? What impact it's going to give?
We need to increase the diversification in rain-fed areas, sir, because based on rainfall, we have to select the sowing time. And
The title itself, we are telling the start of the season.
yes, sir.
So based on this, you have to suggest this area, this will be the start of the season. So you be ready, you prepared for the sowing, and then you collect the whatever the seed material or whatever this, you plow the field and keep ready. So that you are going to that your district, or in this area, the season is going to start in such a particular month. Like that, you have to give the suggestions.
Thank you. Next, I call Geetanjali.
Afternoon all. You seem to be so tired and bored. So let me have a short and crisp presentation. So myself, Geetanjali from Department of Agricultural Microbiology. I'm doing a research under the guidance of Dr. U. Shivakumar, and I'm doing a research assistantship from U Tokyo, Japan, University of Tokyo, Japan. Okay, let me share a part of my work with you. So my part of my work is impact of cropping pattern and fertilization on aim fungal diversity grown in grown in semi-dry or aerobic rice grown in drought-prone areas of southern Tamil Nadu. Let me introduce my topic to you. So we all know that, as Arun Kumar have already introduced about rice and drought. So plants have been faced with adverse climatic condition. So considering drought is a major abiotic stress which influence the crop growth and productivity in rice and major crops. Aim fungi, arbuscular mycorrhizal fungi. So the main hero, the main concept of my research. So what he will do, so the arbuscular mycorrhizal fungi, many researchers have proved that this fungi can alter the water relation in plants, and it will enhance the crop productivity and soil stability in moisture stressed condition. So aim fungi, it will increase the water uptake, nutrient efficiency, and it will increase the root growth and productivity of the crop. So this is the overall workflow of my research. So first is a collection of rhizosporic soil and root samples from drought-prone areas of southern Tamil Nadu. Then extraction of arbuscular mycorrhizal fungal spores from soil, and assessment of aim fungal colonization from roots of rice, and analyzing the physiochemical properties, enzyme activities, and finally analyzing the aim fungal diversity. So sample collection. So the districts we have covered is, so we have covered southern districts and Kaveri Delta zone. So from these southern districts, we have covered some 10 districts. So Dindigul, Madurai, Virudhunagar, Tirunelveli, Thoothukudi, Pudukkottai, Thiruvarur, Nagapattinam, Ramanathapuram, and Theni districts. So from these districts, as per cropping pattern and organic and inorganic fertilization, the samples were collected. So the red mark indicates that is a sample of inorganically fertilized sample. Green mark indicates that the sample from organically fertilized soil. So the samples, so the rhizosporic root and soil, the rhizosporic soil and roots of rice were collected, and it was brought to the lab in a polythene bag. Then from the soil, AIM fungal spore was extracted. Then from the root, AIM fungal root colonization was assessed. So this is the photograph of AIM fungal root colonization in rice crop by Tryphon blue staining method. And this is the photograph of AIM fungal spores. So these are all the spores of arbuscular mycorrhizal fungal spores present in rice ecosystem. This is the overall tabulation of physico-chemical properties of drought-prone areas. So from 10 districts, 18 samples were collected according to cropping pattern and fertilization. So spore count was analyzed, root colonization was analyzed, and pH, EC, available nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, organic carbon was estimated. So the soil Ramanathapuram, which is S15, it shows more AIM fungal spore load and root colonization. This is because of in the particular soil, the pH was found to be low. In the particular soil, the phosphorus content was found to be low. In that particular soil, the organic carbon was found to be low. But it shows more amount of AIM fungal spore. Why? Because normally if we analyze based on simple correlation analysis, the AIM fungal spore was positively correlated with organic carbon, which means the soil which have a low amount of organic carbon will have low amount of spore count. The soil which have high amount of organic carbon, it will have high amount of spore load and root colonization. And if we compare a spore count and root colonization with phosphorus content, means it was negatively correlated, which means that AIM fungal spore load was found to be higher in the soil which have a low amount of phosphorus. So this is the overall tabulation of physiochemical properties. This is the diversity. So based on the morphological characters, based on the spore shape, spore size, and spore hyphal layer, and spore wall, the spores was classified. It was morphologically classified. So Acalospora, Glomus, Cutelospora, then Rhizophagus, I found all these spores. So based on this, the diversity was found. So in the rice ecosystem, Acalospora was found to be more predominant in the rice ecosystem. So when we analyzed PCM, according to by principal component analysis, the spore count and the root colonization was positively influenced by available nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, and organic carbon, and it was negatively influenced by EC and pH. So next, so I have extracted the spores and I have found out the predominant spores, and I have derived all those results. Next step is infectivity of AIM fungal spores. So I have extracted the spores and I inoculated into the pot, and I grown a maize crop. So what I found is a miracle. So before that I told the predominant spore was Acalospora, but when I checked the infectivity, the Glomus, that is the Rhizophagus intrarhizus, was found to be more infectious than the other spores. So what I concluded means, so there was more number of AIM fungal spores in a rice, pulse, or sugarcane or millet crop rotation system when we compared with rice monoculture. Then inorganically fertilized soil, when we compare organically fertilized soil and inorganically fertilized soil, inorganically fertilized soil have more amount of AIM fungal load and root colonization. And based on the correlation analysis, I have told that the soils with a low amount of phosphorus will have low spore load and root colonization. Then based on the infectivity test, so I have told Acalospora was found to be predominant in rice ecosystem, but based on infectivity test done with maize crop, Rhizophagus intrarhizus was more infectious than Acalospora. Then these two spores were taken can be taken for further studies, and it can be developed as an inoculum, and it can be applied for rice crop. Thank you.
Now the topic is open for discussion. You are on time, your voice clarity, everything is good. Then put some question.
So what is the success of root colonization? Success percentage?
40 to 50%, sir. Because as I collected rice samples from in a flooded condition. So in flooded condition or anaerobic condition, the aim fungal spore load will be less. If aim fungal spore load is less, the colonization will be less.
So Geetanjali, I think you have collected samples both from organic
Yes, ma'am.
and also inorganic fertilization. But your results showed that inorganic fertilization gave better results.
Yes,
What is the reason?
Maybe due to high input of nitrogen, because farmers they're practicing irregular applying of fertilizers. So one farmer he's saying I'll apply complex fertilizer, that's it. Then another farmer he will say complex with some insecticides, herbicides, and if it is needed more amount of nutrients. So maybe this is a reason for high amount of aim fungal spore load.
So what about the biomass production in inorganic fertilizer applied plots?
I don't check.
So that is the reason. Actually, your microbial population or enzyme activity was high because of the plant biomass, which will be higher in inorganic fertilizer applied fields compared to organically applied fields. Okay, so that could be the reason.
Okay.
How did you identify the organic, the area which is organically fertilized, or area which is inorganic fertilized in?
No, sir. We went for survey, and I have met AVO in all the districts. So he will assign. So this field they are following inorganic, and they are following organic. So I have filtered those villages, and I went for survey and sample collection.
That means that entire village is being converted into organic, or a particular farm?
No, sir. Particularly in a village, one farmer he's practicing organic farming. So what the farmer are saying means organic farming I'm not getting any results, I'm not getting any production.
Organic farming, no production.
Yes, sir.
That means
the
organic farming is not success.
The expected yield they are not getting,
That means the farmer are not interested to go for organic farming.
but they are doing organic farming.
What is the reason?
Maybe.
Suppose if there is a very big basin, there is a chicken biryani is there. Okay, people were eager to waiting for with the plate. If everybody knows that at the last minute when you serve the biryani, everybody knows that there is a poison in the biryani. Will they take or not? That is the reason.
What is meant by glomalin? Glomalin. Glomalin.
Glomalin is a specific protein released by arbuscular mycorrhizal fungi. So glomus is a aim fungi. So glomus it will exceed the glomalin. It is a protein.
One of the beneficial role you've given potassium sodium ratio.
Sir?
Higher potassium sodium ratio.
Yes, sir.
It is that is used for this semi-dry conditions.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Students, any questions?
So the next presentation, P. Tamodran.
Good evening to all. Myself Damodharan. I am going to present about improving productivity and quality of fodders by humic acid and macronutrients under pad row intercropping. First, generally we all know livestock consumes both dry fodders and green fodders. Green fodders only increase consumed by 1/3 of its body weight, and it increases the milk production by about 60%, and all the livestock, that is milk producing animals will consume about 30 to 40 kg of green fodders per day per animal throughout their milk production days for higher milk production. And now current situation, it is estimated that about 60%, 61% of green fodder and 21.9% of dry fodder and 64% of concentrate feed is in deficient condition. And for increasing this green fodder consumption by animals, we have to produce more green fodder production, but due to limited available land for agriculture production, it is impossible to allocate the land for fodder cultivation. So from the available land of fodder cultivation, it is necessary to produce quality fodder for animals. To overcome such circumstance, to increase the fodder productivity and also fodder quality, I have chosen this topic. I have conducted this experiment in randomized block designs with 12 treatments as 3 replications, and during summer month, and use fodder mice variety African tall and conine fodder copy, and African tall seed rate is 40 kg per hectare, and for conine 25 kg per hectares. And I have shown this in pad row system 60 by 30 between the rows, and 10 by 10 centimeter between the plants in an additive series. And duration of harvest for fodder maize, it is 65 days from the sowing, and fodder copy it is 55 days from sowing, or at 50% of flowering. My treatment combinations are T1 combines with 100% RDF with the foliar application of 1% MAP and 0.5% of calcium chloride, and T2 100% RDF plus enriched FEM was prepared, along with the foliar application of 1% urea and 0.5% of calcium chloride, and T3 with 75% of RDF along with enriched FIM and 10 kg humic acid, and foliar application of 1% urea and 0.0% calcium chloride, and T4 it is 100% of RDF as in case of T3, and T5 also extra dose of 25% RDF is given, and the treatments are as like a T4. And in case of T6, T7, T8, same treatments with increased humic acid application, that is 20 kg of humic acid per hectare, and T9 75% RDF, and T10 100%, and T11 125, and T12 is absolutely controlled. And here the recommended dose of fertilizer is 60, 40, 20, and enriched FI was applied at 750 kg per hectare. Why we are using here calcium chloride as a foliar treatment is for animals milk production. It is calcium nutrient is very essential, and also foliar application of urea is to increase the crude protein of green fodders. So we are applying all treatments. It is an initial soil analysis of the experiment trial. It is found to be low in available nitrogen, and a medium range in available P2O5 and K2O, and pH level is 7.3. The effect of humic acid and foliar treatment of urea and calcium chloride on yield green yield and dry fodder yield of fodder maize under intercropping is in this treatment. Treatment T8, that is 125% of recommended dose of fertilizers, along with the recommended dose of enriched FIM with 20 kg of humic acid per hectare, with foliar application of 1% urea and 0.5% of calcium chloride, produces maximum green fodder yield and also dry fodder yield. It is also on for that is it is followed by T7 treatment, that is 100% of RDF and other treatments, and it is compared with the control treatments. It improves the yield by about 30%. And this is the same case of cowpea also. This is because availability of nutrients in the root zone. Then only the plant will increase produces maximum yield. Humic acid will increases the fertilizer use, that is a nutrient use efficiency, and also it will optimizes the soil solution near the plant root zone. So it increases the yield than other treatments. And the effect of humic acid and other foliar treatments on proximate composition. In this also T8 produces a more dry matter accumulation than other treatments, and crude protein also higher in 11.8 11.85, because here nitrogen uptake is higher when compared to other treatments, because it also inhibits the urease activity and reduces the N losses, and crude fiber also higher in T4 treatment, and also total ash content in 12 is 12.48, and crude fiber is will decrease with increase in fertilizer nitrogen application. In case of water copy also, the approximate composition of dry matter and crude protein, crude fiber found higher in T8 treatment, that is a 125% of recommended dose of fertilizers, along with the enriched FIM and 20 kg of humic acid, and the foliar application of other treatments. And this is the comparison of green fodder yield. It is in this picture, they clearly depicts the difference between the best treatment, that is the 20 kg of humic acid application and 125% of the RDF, and next one is T12 absolute control. From this experiment, I conclude that application of 125% RDF along with the enriched FIM and 20 kg of humic acid will increase the maximum green fodder and dry fodder yield, and it also increases the nutrient use efficiency, which will directly influence the dry matter accumulation, and also growth rate, crop growth rate also influence. Generally, for sole cropping, we recommended 75% of RDF along with the 25% of humic acid, because this is a additive series of additive series to increase the productivity, but the number of plants per unit area also increased, doubled. So here productivity is increased, and also nutritive value of fodder also increased. Thank you.
Now the presentation is open for discussion.
Damodaran, why you have chosen the summer season?
Fodder can be grown all throughout the year, ma'am.
Okay, in the fodder, in all the treatment, that is the best treatment is going on increasing nitrogen. That is enriched farmyard manure, then 125% of that is nitrogen, then polar application of urea, then humic acid. What will happen if it is going on increasing nitrogen in the fodder?
Ma'am, generally by application urea it will loss as fertilization, end loss will be here, ma'am. So for fodder production, we want a higher biomass. Green.
We can get biomass, but it's going on increasing nitrogen means
For higher production, for quality. Crude protein
It will
only.
become poisonous. Hmm? Then why you are adding this calcium chloride?
We have added a calcium chloride foliar application, but it doesn't have any effect on to increase the calcium content in powder only.
Then what about the palatability?
That we didn't check.
Okay.
You are adding in the humic acid. You are telling that. Is it available in liquid form or in solid form?
So both it is
So you applied it in kg in solid, huh?
solid form, sir. Powder.
How you applied?
It is applied along with the FIM
From where you, that availability is from where you are going to get?
from commercial product you get.
Commercially, this is it available in the market?
Yes, sir.
Humic acid?
I bought by commercial.
Hmm?
I bought from the market only.
Market only. What is it? Its composition? What it contains actually?
It has generally humus contains a humic acid, fulvic acid like that, sir. From I bought from the product. It contains 5% of 5% of N and 2% of K and 0.04% of phosphorus, sir.
Then how best it can replace that inorganic substitution? Is it replacing the inorganic fertilizer by adding this humic acid?
No, sir. It is used as biostimulant to increase the efficiency of applied fertilizers.
What is the cost?
It's cost starting from liquid form 40, sir. Based on the market brand, like in case of powder, it is from 60 rupees.
Suppose there is a box in the market. That box was filled with some cow dung liquid, but it is in the label. It is that a humic acid. How do you distinguish between whether it is cow dung liquid or humic acid? How do you ensure that the what you purchased and you applied is a humic acid? How do you ensure that you have applied is humic acid?
Generally, humic acid is
Because it doesn't fall under the FCA standard. Fertilizer Control Order standard doesn't fall. But how do you ensure that it is humic acid? Please.
generally humic acid is dark brown in color, sir. Dark brown in color. But
dark brown in color, many things are dark brown color. For example, vermicompost is there. Vermicompost, you just mix it and you filter it, it will get dark brown in color. How do you ensure that what you have purchased and applied is humic acid? The humic acid has been produced in 1980s by NLC lignite, from NLC, lignite humic acid. They have established a pilot plant at NLC, that is Center for Agriculture and Applied and Research and Development Center at NLC. They have developed with the technology. With that time, the 1980s, 80, 84, 85, 86, up to 1995, the Annamalai University have done a lot of work on humic acid. So after that result, the NLC has sold this technology to some company. That company, they are producing a humic gold. That is the technology obtained from NLC. The company is producing the humic acid and selling in the market. How do you ensure that product you are purchased and applied for your experiment? Okay.
So whether you are using humic acid as a carbon source.
Yes, ma'am.
So instead of humic acid, you can go for some organic manure.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Here, Monisha? Absent. Not coming. Sabapati? Not coming. Didi? Pugalendi? Okay, you are welcome. Okay. Okay. Before the presentation, for the information of all the participants, about 288 persons were registered under this team. That is what you call trends and challenges in soil crop management. But attendance of the candidates is very poor, 127. There are more than 50% are absent. Those who are absent, they may not be given your certificates. Because this poster session is tomorrow, we are supposed to be here. If they are being evaluated today, it's okay, but they are exclusively given tomorrow evaluation. Invariably, you must be here. That shows most of you are not here. This announcement, as per the instructions from the organizers, I am announcing this. This will be taken care like that. Thank you. You are welcome.
Good evening to one and all gathered here. I am Priyanka, PhD scholar from Agrometeorology Department. Now I am going to discuss about the topic monsoon rainfall variations study over Tamil Nadu region. We all know India is a monsoon country. We are enjoying two set of monsoon. One is southwest and the northeast monsoon. Monsoon plays a major role in success and failure of the agriculture productivity. Meanwhile, the context of the climate change, it varies the pattern distribution, both in spatially and temporal, in the distribution of rainfall in both the monsoons. So here we have taken an initial step that an principal study to use data from Climate Research Unit, which is one of the data set. We have many data sets like that. We have IMD observed data and the other like Aphrodite and then CMIP6 data and all. Now we have taken Climate Research Unit data set for our study. Now, in this study, we have given the anomaly study of southwest monsoon and the northeast monsoon. The southwest monsoon comes in the June to September period and the northeast monsoon for October to December. We have taken the data sets from for the period of 1922 to 2020, which is a century of 100 years of data. We have divided the data into 30 years data set as early, mid and late, and the last one is the past decadal data. We have chosen 30 years because for every climatological study, we need 30 years of data to understand the pattern of the rainfall or any other meteorological variable. For a climatological study, we need a 30 years of data. So we have categorized the data into 30 years period. Coming to the data set, the Climate Research Unit data is a reanalysis data. It is reanalysis data because it is and derived observed data. We use the observed data from the ground station and also from the satellite data. They have derived the points which are actually not observed. That is the reanalysis data. So this was actually developed in a number of funders, but the main thing it is handled by UK and US department. UK is handled by Natural Environment Research Council and US by Department of Energy. Coming to the methodology, we have downloaded data sets in net serial format. We have downloaded CRU Climate Research Unit time series data in the 0.5 degree resolution. Then we have extracted that net serial file, which have in global scale. We have extracted into a Tamil Nadu points, and we have also bias corrected for checking the data using Python and RStudio libraries. Then we have previously said we have partitioned the data of the 100 years data using the Python libraries, and we have analyzed the trend and its data has also been framed using PyMankendall library. The result shows that for southwest monsoon, there is an increasing trend during the early period, which is 2.2 mm per year. For the decadal analysis, for past decadal analysis, it shows that there is an increase in normal. It doesn't show any trend, but there is an increase in normal rainfall by about 30 mm during the southwest monsoon. Next.
The next for northeast monsoon, we have observed the same pattern. For during the early stage, the trend was increased by 2.0 mm per year, and the normal rainfall was increased by 50 mm. The reason for no trend observed during the other period is due to the El Nino effect, because it may nullify the it is one of the myth that El Nino may will affect the nullify the effects of increasing and decreasing the change of rainfall over the period of 30 years. So we couldn't find any trend for those two other two periods. Other than that, we have found that increasing trend during early period, and the normal rainfall has also been increased. And our staffs are also studied the trend analysis. They have also proved that they have also find similar findings regarding increasing in the trend of early periods season, and the annual rainfall has also been increasing overall period of times. So coming to the conclusion, we need to explore more about the spatio-temporal variations in the rainfall, because it plays a major role in agriculture productivity. It also helps us to manage the water resource management planning. The amount of water incoming should be well known, so that we can accordingly plan the water availability, and we can use the water in an efficient manner, which then helps to maintain our food security and other prosperous activities.
Presentation is open for discussion and study.
Priyanka, so you have collected 100 years of data. So what is the use for the future?
Actually, this is a past analysis data. From that, we can confirm that there is an influence of change in climate, but there is also future analysis data is also they are working on.
We can do any modeling by using this data?
Yes, ma'am. We can for a separate for crop modeling also, we can use this data as an input for climate change studies and all, ma'am.
Okay. So what is the correlation between the El Nino effect and rainfall? What is positive or negative?
El Nino effects cause drought in Indian season accordingly for southwest monsoon, but Tamil Nadu enjoys the mostly 70% rainfall from northeast monsoon. So far, El Nino has not given so much effect on northeast. According this year is also an El Nino. So far, that is not effect, but according to the past studies, El Nino gives drought in Indian monsoon.
A warm good evening to one and all present here. I'm Shanmugapriya and I'm pursuing my PhD in Nanoscience and Technology. I'm here to present on nanostructured lipid carrier, a potential delivery vehicle of volatile biomolecules for the eco-friendly management of fungal nematode complex, which mainly focuses on Fusarium malodorgine complex. I would like to start this session with a very short glimpses on the impact of synthetic chemical pesticides on the soil and health, particularly human health. Why? Because this will give us a clear-cut idea on the importance of my research work. We all must have came across the word grape famine, which became more popular after Green Revolution and Industrial Revolution. The Industrial Revolution had seen the emergence of synthetic pesticide, had seen the emergence of synthetic pesticide, and it literally grown steadily in the later period. And this statistics given by the European Union, by looking into this graph, we can understand that each continent is almost dumping a lakh tons of pesticides to the soil just to improve the productivity. And it has almost increased from 10% to 10% from 1999 to 2020. But besides increasing the productivity, it is causing series of contaminations to all the ecosystems, starting from soil, air to water, which in turn causes series of ill effects to the human being, starting from headache, fatigue, brain damage, nerve disorderness, blood disorderness, tumor, and so on, even death to the people. And we just started using synthetic pesticides just to grave the famine, but it started graves the human beings. Emphasizing on all these points, a recent research work carried out by the European Union states that through organic farming, it is taking almost more than 20 years to reduce the pesticide residues to half the volume which is already present in the soil. And there are n number of researches that is being carried out throughout the world to use bio-based techniques to improve the soil quality and plant health, and which includes plant and secondary metabolite, plant and microbial secondary metabolites. Secondary metabolites are nothing but a low molecular weight components which may be either volatiles or non-volatiles. That is produced by the plants or animals in response to the response to activation of defense pathways. And these are mostly lipophilic compounds belonging to the group of terpenoids, phenylpropanoids, and short chain aliphatic hydrocarbons. Though there are n number of researches that is proven to have proves that they have large amount of antimicrobial activity, anti-nematicidal property, and fungicidal property. They are not much applied in the agricultural field because of very few disadvantages, which includes immiscibility in water due to their high hydrophobicity, toxicity at very high concentration, and easily degraded by the open environment, which includes auto-oxidation, cyclization, and volatilization due to low vapor pressure. Whether these disadvantages can be overcome through nanotechnology? Yes, of course. There are various types of nano encapsulation techniques to protect these bioactive compounds, and I'm choosing nanostructured lipid carriers because of their unique structural arrangement. The structural components of nanostructured lipid carrier contain a solid lipid, liquid lipid, and an emulsifier. A solid lipid is nothing but a crystalline substance which, when melted, it will give wide amount of spaces to occupy the volatile bioactives. But when this heat melted solid lipid is cooled down to room temperature, these volatile bioactives will be burst released to the open environment, which is again toxic to the open environment. So to overcome that, we are adding a second component called liquid lipid that will interact with the crystalline defects of the solid lipid and the bioactives, and minimizes the release process and helps in slow release of the bioactives. And as it is the solid lipid and liquid lipid will encapsulate these bioactives, but it have to be stably suspended in water for agriculture application, because we can't give a high dosage concentrated solution to the open environment, which again affect the soil organic components. So the third component called emulsifier is used to stabilize this environment. Thus, I'm hypothesizing that a solid nanostructured lipid carrier could be a better carrier molecule for bioactives because of their high loading capacity, slow release, and stable dispersion. Let's look into the results from wet lab and dry lab experiments, whether this holds good, whether my hypothesis holds good or not. This is a molecular dynamic simulation snapshots, which shows the encapsulation of volatile bioactives and nanostructured lipid carrier. The first picture shows the interaction of volatile bioactives with that of the solid lipids. You can see a 50% of affinity, that ball structures are bioactives and stick structures are solid lipids. You can see 50% affinity of bioactives to that of solid lipid. Whereas in the second structure, when the further addition of liquid lipid is done, you can see a full encapsulation of those bioactives. Yes, that's because of this solid lipid and liquid lipid, it is protected, but it have to be suspended. The simulation was carried out for a time period of 100 nanoseconds, and that last structure is stable from the 20th nanoseconds to 100th nanosecond. This says the suspension is stable. This is the proofs from the dry lab experiments. Let's go to the wet lab experiments. The left image shows the 10 micrographs. Here you can see a dispersed spear-shaped particles. This shows the formation of nanostructured lipid carriers, and it is evenly distributed. In nano region, the dispersion and stabilization is very tough because of their high surface energy. But it is, but you can see a very good dispersion because even in the size range from 20 to 40 nanometer. Thus, NLC can be a good dispersion medium. And the right side portion shows the excited diffraction pattern, which also confirms the encapsulation of bioactives in the solid lipids. The red color peak shows the crystalline pattern of solid lipid. As I said, solid lipid is a crystalline material. It is having a crystalline pattern at 4.9 Armstrong and 3.77 Armstrong, which confirms that it is crystal in nature. But when the volatile bioactives occupies the crystal defects, the crystal defects exist, and the crystal patterns are disappeared and linked to the formation of amorphous peaks, which is shown in the black in color. Now, as with the help of dry lab experiments and wet lab experiments, we confirm that volatile bioactives can be encapsulated with the help of NLCs, that is nanostructured lipid carriers. But all these to improve the plant health, right? So we tested these effect of these NLCs on the pathogenic fungi and pathogenic nematodes, which causes harmfulness to the plant health. So first is Fusarium oxysporum. The left corner picture is the control plate, where you can see a vigorous growth of the Fusarium oxysporum, and the top two pictures include shows the essential oil impact of essential oil on the growth of Fusarium oxysporum, and impact of NLCs on the growth of Fusarium oxysporum. And you can see a high inhibition rate in NLCs than essential oil. This might be due to the smaller size of NLCs that improves the activity of essential oils. And the right portion of the picture shows the impact of NLCs on the nematodes. You can see a control eggs and a treated eggs, and control juveniles and treated juveniles. In control egg, you can see well-grown juvenile, whereas in treated, you can't see any well-grown juvenile. Whereas you extend the structure of the juveniles, you can see. This is due to the effect of NLCs on that egg masses. Whereas in treated, in case of juveniles, you can see clear-cut bubbles inside the treated juveniles. This might be due to the lack of storage proteins, which is essential for the development of the juveniles. And the next one is by defending with this, by acting on those fungus, we can improve the plant health. The next one is we have to focus on soil health. Soil health, in the sense, it is mostly depends on the soil microbiota or soil living organisms. So I tested the effect of these formulations on the earthworms. Even 5 times higher concentration of formulation is not having any mortality on the earthworms. Thus, it is a very good. It is eco-friendly nature. This bioactives loaded nanostructure lipid carrier can be researched further to get a long-term effect, cost-effective, farmer-friendly and eco-friendly pesticide formulation to maintain a good soil and plant health. Thank you.
Thank you. Any queries?
So what is the success of the biosafety studies? Use mic, please.
Even at five times higher concentration of my nano formulation, earthworms were alive after 14 days of observation. I carried out 28 days observation. So for reproductive test, it is not the earthworms are alive, and even young I can see, sir.
So in addition to that, existing any other methods to study for biosafety of the nanomaterial?
Yes, sir. Other microorganisms also we can test. Apart from it, metagenomic studies also we can through metagenomic analysis also we can conclude based on the microbiota. Or, we can treat the soil, and we will have control soil. We can take soil DNA samples from the soils, and we can analyze using next-gen sequencing or 6' RNA sequencing or metagenomic sequencing to have the phylogenetic tree comparison. With that, we can analyze whether this formulation is good to the environment or not.
This for your PhD?
Yes, sir. This is for my PhD.
Good, very good presentation.
So you told it is volatile in nature.
Yes, ma'am.
For how long?
Ma'am, if it is not encapsulated, it will be my components will be easily evaporated to the environment within half an hour. But if it is encapsulated, it is staying for a period of 15 days to 30 days.
So it will be available for 15 days.
Sir, ma'am?
15 days it will be available in the environment.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
This NLC is available, or it will be can be synthesized?
Sir?
That carrier can be synthesized?
Respected dignitaries and friends, myself, D. Abhigna, I am studying second PhD in the Department of Agronomy. And today I am going to present on nutrient-rich harvest, optimizing macronutrient content, uptake and availability of groundnut through farmyard manure and micronutrient fertilization in sandy soils of Andhra Pradesh. So we all know that groundnut is the king of oil seeds, but globally, India ranks first in area and second in production. And the productivity of groundnut is 1,688 kg per hectare. But in Andhra Pradesh, the area under groundnut is it ranks second, and but the productivity is very low. That is 630 kg per hectare. Despite being such an important oil seed crop, this groundnut, the productivity of the Andhra Pradesh is very lower when compared to the average productivity of the India. This might be due to the many production constraints and possibly because of
plant population and imbalanced use of nutrients and the deficiencies of nutrients also. The estimated, according to Singh and Basu 2005, the estimated yield loss in groundnut due to deficiencies of NPK is 18%, 32% and 29% respectively. And whereas the deficiencies of zinc, iron and boron is 30 to 40%, 10 to 22% and 16 to 26% respectively. So in this research, we have focused on increasing the nutrition of groundnut. The experimental details of research work is location. This experiment was conducted in agricultural college from Bapatla, and the variety taken is Kadri 6, and we have adopted randomized block design with 10 treatments and 3 replications. And the treatment combinations, T1 is control, T2 is FIM method 10 tons per hectare, T3, T4, T5 is soil application of zinc sulfate, ferrous sulfate and borax at the rate 16 kg per hectare, 10 kg per hectare and 10 kg per hectare respectively. Whereas T6 is a combination of T3, T4, T5. And coming to T7, T8, T9, the foliar application of zinc sulfate at the rate 0.2%, and T8 is foliar application of ferrous sulfate at the rate 0.5%, and the borax T9 foliar application of borax at the rate 0.25%. And the T10 is a combination of T7, T8, T9. And this foliar application was applied at 30 days and 60 days after sowing. Note that RDF 20, 40, 50 kg per hectare and gypsum 500 kg per hectare was applied to all the treatments. Coming to the physical chemical properties of the experimental soil, this experiment was laid in sandy loam soils of Bapatla with pH 6.8 which is neutral and EC 0.26 which is non-saline, and organic carbon is 0.48% which is low, and available nitrogen 200 kg per hectare, and available P2O5 is 25 kg per hectare, and available K2O is 210 kg per hectare which is low. Coming to the dry matter production of groundnut at various stages of the crop growth as influenced by different micronutrient treatments. Among all the treatments tested, T2, that is the RDF plus FIM at the rate 10 tons per hectare, recorded highest dry matter production, that is 5,845 kg per hectare. This might be due to the combined action of organic and inorganic nutrient sources, which might have helped in release of nutrients that might have helped in the better growth of the plant, and thereby led to the highest dry matter production. And among the micronutrient treatments, T6, that is RDF plus combined soil application of zinc sulfate, ferrous sulfate and borax, recorded highest dry matter production. This might be due to the combined effect of micronutrients which might have helped in production of more number of leaves, leaf area, and then that might have resulted in more dry matter production. This is a graphical representation of dry matter accumulation, and here we can see clearly the T2 which recorded the highest dry matter production. Coming to effect of organic and micronutrient fertilizers on macronutrient content, uptake and availability of harvest in groundnut. Among all the treatments tested, T2, that is RDF plus FIM 10 tons per hectare, recorded highest NPK content, uptake and availability. This might be due to the combined action of RDF along with the organic nutrient source, which might have helped in release of available nutrients, and also and addition of the inorganic nutrients to the soil, which might have helped in better absorption by the plant, and when coupled with dry matter production, which increased in the uptake also. And among the micronutrient treatments, T6 recorded highest content, uptake and availability of macronutrients. This might be due to the combined effect of micronutrients, which might have helped in better metabolic process of the plant, and which also helped in root formation, better root formation and root nodulation, and thereby nitrogen fixation of the plant, and the nutrients better absorption of the nutrients into the plant when coupled with dry matter production, which helped in highest uptake of the nutrients. Coming to the conclusion, by adopting this, apart from the farmyard menu, by adopting the combined soil application of micronutrients, which might be helpful in the nutrient-rich harvest of groundnut. These are some of the pictures of the experiment. Thank you.
So the slide which shown the last nitrogen content and uptake. Previous. Yeah. See, what is the nitrogen content in groundnut? What is the part you analyzed? Which part of the groundnut shows 5%, 4.8% nitrogen content? Which part of the groundnut plant? So you are sent generally sent after harvest of groundnut, whether it is a kernel, whether it is a haulm or it's a root, or it is a root nodule. Which one is
It is the combination of haulm and kernel, sir.
haulm and kernel? How do you do analysis haulm and kernel?
Actually, I did separately and then I added it up. So I took as total nitrogen content.
You got separately analyzed haulm and also separately analyzed kernel. You have pulled it in then.
Yes.
Okay, good, very good. It should not report like this. Should report separately. You should report separately uptake of kernel and uptake of haulm like that. Okay. Anyhow, good.
So whether you have followed the recommendation, fertilizer recommendation as per our agri portal?
Yes, ma'am.
So what is the recommendation of zinc sulfate and ferrous sulfate?
Actually, this is my PG research, ma'am.
No, but
MSc research, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
But
PG is in Bapatla, sir. PhD is here, sir.
so your
This is PG work, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
so that recommendation is as per Andhra government.
Andhra, sir. Only in the second treatment we have taken from. It is there, ma'am.
Yeah.
Farmyard menu recommendation in Andhra Pradesh is 10 tons per hectare, ma'am.
10 tons. Okay. Why you did not present any yield data? Then how we can correlate?
Here I took only macronutrient contents uptake and availability.
So your application of micronutrient for the optimization of macronutrient your study.
No, ma'am.
Then
I didn't include micronutrient study in this presentation.
okay. Okay, good.
The title is actually optimizing macronutrient content and availability of groundnut through farmyard manure and micronutrient fertilization. Your results is okay. But what is his title has given says he has presented. Yeah.
So you have taken included this all micronutrients. Are these micronutrients are really deficient in that soil or just for yield improvement you have taken?
Usually the sandy loam soils of what I took the field experiment site is deficient in zinc and boron and iron, sir. So I have taken this.
Okay. Any questions from student side?
Good evening, one and all present here. My study is about rainfall deviation for future scenario, especially in the high rainfall zone. Why I have taken the rainfall deviation in the study means the rainfall is the major factor for agriculture production. In high rainfall zones, generally we are thinking that in future there will be high rainfall will occur, or generally we are thinking that rainfall will be higher, or it will be normal, but it's not true. As we are increasing global climate change, the rainfall is keeps increasing due to the temperature increase. Which means the evaporation potential is increasing, though. So the rainfall amount is increasing due to the capacity of moisture holding. Moisture holding capacity increases in the atmosphere. In this, for analyzing that, we have taken rainfall deviation for past 30 years and future 60 years. We are divided into near future and mid future. Next slide. In high rainfall zones, major is extreme rainfall events occur. The extreme rainfall event means high rainfall will occur in one day. It means 100 mm rainfall occur in one day, means which leads to flood. Then we have a doubt whether the drought occurs in high rainfall regions. Yes, it's of course occur, which means we can take an example. For 1 year, it means 200 mm rainfall is recorded. In another year, it is recorded 1500 mm rainfall. But we average it. It shows a normal rainfall. But the drought occurred in past year. We can provide that next year rainfall or previous year rainfall to next agriculture season. So the normal rainfall, the trend shows it is normal rainfall, but while we are analyzing single year, it shows drought. Next. I have taken the high rainfall zone of Tamil Nadu, which is Kanyakumari. In recent times, it shows high rainfall, which leads to flooding, and some years it comes low rainfall, which means it leads to drought. Next. The high rainfall zone Kanyakumari is normally receives 1420 mm rainfall in 64 days. This 1420 mm rainfall within 64 days only, the cropping pattern has been decided for that district. In that 533 mm and 527 mm, more or less similar rainfall received in both northeast monsoon and southwest monsoon seasons. The mean maximum temperature for this region is 33 degrees Celsius, and minimum temperature is 22 degrees Celsius. It goes up to 22 degrees Celsius. The predominant crop here is rice, and moreover that it is located in that coastal area, so the plantation crop is most preferable to that coastal areas. So the plantation crops are coconut, rubber, pepper, and cardamom are widely cultivated in this zone. The cropping pattern is mostly followed is coconut, areca nut, and tapioca. Next. Here I have analyzed rainfall deviation for future climatic scenario. For baseline, I have taken IMD gridded data sets from 1991 to 2020. For future data sets, I have taken climate model intercomparison project, which is an latest projected data. I have subdivided into 2 centuries, which is 2021 to 2050 is a near century, and 2051 to 2018 is a mid century. The source is taken by NASA climate studies. The rainfall deviation classification is when the normal rainfall is exceeds greater than 60%, it is called as wet year, and 20 to 59% is excess year, and plus or minus 19 is a normal year, and greater than means less than minus 22 minus 60% is deficit year, less than 60% is an scanty year. When going to the results, the annual rainfall deviation, here I showed the annual rainfall deviation. In the historical period, the normal rainfall is recorded 18. While going to that SSP 245 and 585 scenario, which means SSP 245 is medium emission pathway, and SSP 585 is an high emission pathway. Which means 245 means in 2000, the temperature recorded prediction is 2.7 degrees Celsius. In 585, the temperature recorded is 4.4 degrees Celsius. Obviously, I told when the temperature increases, the rainfall will increases. Amount of rainfall received is increases. But in the case of normal rainfall received is decreases. While analyzing that future, the deficit years keeps increasing in that near century and mid century in both low emission scenario and high emission scenario. The Scandi is reducing, but the deficit rainfall years are increasing. Next. While deep dive into that season wise, the winter and summer are not showing any much deviation. But that wet year and excess year keeps interchanging. In historical period, winter is winter season, wet year recorded 7, but in future scenarios, the wet year recorded 5 times. Then excess year recorded 4 times, and the excess year keeps decreasing, but another are looks similar. But southwest monsoon and northeast monsoon, southwest monsoon, the normal year keeps decreasing and deficit year keeps increasing, which means the deficit year keeps increasing in both southwest monsoon and northeast monsoon. Next, what could be the outcome? As we are thinking that high rainfall zone become converted into a normal rainfall zone in future. That is a one-line outcome of this study. Then the farmers will be suffered due to that sudden change in the rainfall pattern. They need to adapt for that alternate cropping system for their zone. So the water requirement, what the quantum of water received during the previous season need to be stored for next season through water management practices. That is my final outcome. Thank you.
Any questions?
Santosh Kumar.
Ma'am.
So, how much precipitation deviation will be there in near future, especially in the southeast monsoon, as per your study?
Ma'am, I have studied that entire Tamil Nadu, ma'am. In that, the rainfall deviation will vary from that zone. 19% to 98% the deviation will be occur.
Okay. In the introduction part, your statement is when the temperature is, but in the near future, you are telling the deficit will be there.
Yes, ma'am.
How?
That is why I insisted the amount of rainfall increasing in 1 year that not match in next year. The due to that climate change, intensity of rainfall increases.
Okay.
But that intensity will not match into the next year. But we are seeing in the trend, if 5 years taking 200 mm rainfall, in another year taking 500 mm rainfall, it have much deviation. But while we are saying in average, it shows only 400 mm rainfall. So it not deviate from that normal rainfall. But the drought will occur in that 200 mm rainfall. Those are all the years received in 200 mm rainfall. That
drought has occurred. Okay, good.
So you have analyzed the rainfall pattern. So can you tell how many deficit year or drought year you come across during last 10 years? That is from 2000 now 2022, of course. 2012 to 2022, last 10 years, how many drought year or deficit year you come across in your study? Before 10 years, that is 2011, before 10 years, that is 2011 to 2011. How many deficit year you have come across?
In 2000 to 2010, 2000, 2001, 2003. In most of the regions were faced severe drought. and 2008 and 9 faced more drought years.
No,
In
no, my question is very clear. How many years?
number
How
of
many
years.
years you come across drought? How many years?
In 2000 to 2010, they faced 5 drought years.
Okay.
Then 2010, 11 to 20, they faced 7 drought years.
You may expect more drought years in future sense.
Yes, sir. Drought frequency will increase in future.
Okay. Another question. So among the different season, which season these drought years occurs? No, which season the more susceptible for drought?
Especially southwest monsoon, sir. In recent studies, the IMD also suggested to switch that cropping season to for that southwest monsoon, which means June to September. They are suggesting to switch that cropping season into July to October. Due to that variation within that southwest monsoon, we have analyzed intra-seasonal variation within that season. They also showed a similar trend in entire Tamil Nadu.
Thank you, madam.
Yeah, thank you, Santosh Kumar. Good presentation and also good interaction. Next, I call Mohana Priya.